Hello, welcome to my channel. Happy Monday. We are here with all signs who's coming towards you and their energy feelings this week. So I'm just going to try and combine it all and see what I get for you. And if you're single, don't be shy, because I usually will call out, if there's new love or something that I'm picking up in the read-in. I start with Aries going towards Pisces. It just feels good to stay in the rhythm of the Zodiac. Plus, for each zodiac, I do look at Aries through Pisces as well to see your sign connected to each one. So welcome in. Hello, Angel. Hello, FG. I see Lisa. I see you guys talking about the Super Bowl yesterday. I did not watch it. You know, I am Patriots. They did not follow through, but they didn't, But it's not like I'm crying about it. Hello, Lexi. I know my family's probably like, what the hell, but all right. So I will be going. The Super Bowl, if I was around people that were into it, I would totally have a blast watching it, but I don't put it on, for any reason. Hello, Dolores. And I will be live today at 4:30 for a little bit, for a short period. I'm still adjusting to these damn specs here. They work amazing. I can walk around everywhere, see far away perfectly clear, but I'm struggling now with the close up, and it's supposed to be both. So I don't know. Hello, the girl. What's up? All right. Let's get this party started. I'm going to try today to, make it a little bit quicker. See what's happening here. Where is my timestamps? So we're going to start Aries at 333. All right. Don't forget, if you are interested in Otter Spirit, I do have it still there. I do a little promo for them every now and then. These bracelets are pretty awesome. And you can see the code you can use in the timestamps will be in the description and afterwards too as well. So let's see. We have Aries. We are getting going. Thank you, Neptune Tide. Beautiful with my hair back in a little bun. Whenever I work out a lot, I don't do my hair as much. So I keep it in a bun, because it's just, you guys know, it's like, come on. Let's see. Aries, 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 Aries. Aries, Aries, Aries. Let me get a good shuffle. Aries is first in line. Angel, thank you for being here. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm having my lunar return right now. It's Scorpio moon. So we got the Wednesday Adams in the room. And Lisa, thank you. All right, Aries. What does Aries need to know about love? Who's in their energy? Ooh, somebody that you're waiting for communication with. I see disgruntled. All right, wishes coming true. I have Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Aries, you're going to get what you wish for. It looks like that happily ever after. All right. And maybe you're feeling a little bit off, though, with the Queen of Swords energy. Not sure if you can trust something or trust someone. But I see somebody pulling through for you this week. So let's take a look at their energy coming through. Could be an Aquarius energy. You're working your magic. You're working somebody right now. And maybe it feels like you're up against a challenge with this person when it comes to, being ready to commit, or, just relationship. You're ahead of the game. You're wanting it. You really want this connection. And, but, I'm getting a good vibe here for you. So let's see. Two of Pentacles. All right, making some plans this week with somebody. So that's what I'm getting here, is this little frequency. It feels like, maybe 1 minute it seems like everything's going fine with somebody, but then, things are kind of up in the air. You have Two of Pentacles showing up for you. So it can tell me that, it's there's something happening between you and another person, but it's about right now adapting to the situation. Not getting stuck on what you think is really happening here. It seems like early stages with the person. So if this is resonating with you, it feels like you both want to make plans to see each other. You both want to make this happen, but something's getting in the way. And you're being asked here with this star card to, trust that it is going to work out in your favor. You have a 10 of Cups here, which says, this person here wants to be together with you as much as you want to be together with them. All right. Now I've got the Five of Wands. So your person could be dealing with some conflict in their life right now, right? Who isn't, right? So I do have the Five of Wands. It may be feeling like, there's a lot of tension, a lot of pressure around them right now. And you can feel something, but you don't know quite what it is. And I see the Magician card here. So it's like they're trying to keep something at bay from you. They're trying to fight, this connection in a way, right? Maybe it's just not right timing. Let's see how they view you. The Knight of Cups, right? Maybe you're just ready and geared up and ready to go. Your person here looks like they're dealing with a little bit more stress than you are. So maybe you're connecting with somebody that just recently got out of a relationship, or they're dealing with some family issues, all right? And they're trying to make it work. Right? They're really trying to make it work both ways, because it feels like this person is very drawn towards you. I see a date coming in. So today's reading, it feels like I'm supposed to focus on actual practical things that could happen this week, more so than anything. And when I'm looking at these cards, it feels like I will be together with you. I want to be together with you. I want this to work. We've got some challenges in the way, in the middle, but this week you guys could be actually deciding to make some plans and make it work one way or the other, because it seems equal, mutual between you and this person. I have a Gemini energy too, and I see the Knight of Cups. So prepare yourself for somebody to actually ask you out. Maybe, this is a new romantic partner for some of you. So I did say that if you're single, right, it does look as though you may be attracting in somebody here who has feelings for you, somebody who's got their eyes on you, really drawn towards your energy. What does Spirit think you should focus on this week? And I see the Eight of Pentacles. All right, keep doing your thing. All right, not putting too much attention on the situation, too much focus on the situation that you're dealing with, or the person that you have on your mind, is going to add more conflict. And you may make choices that hinder the situation rather than help, because it does look like your person here, the Five of Wands, wants to take action towards you, but is trying to settle some sort of dispute behind the scenes, all right, whether it's internal or external. Now, the Eight of Pentacles for you is to, distract yourself. All right, keep doing your thing. Let this person come towards you rather than worrying about it. The Star card is saying your wishes will come true this week. So let's look at Aries through Pisces and see for each zodiac sign what to expect from them this week. Spirit says you should focus on spring cleaning. You know what, guys? We're all going to be. All right. I was just listening to a little bit of Pam Gregory. And you know what? Like this last week, right? If things aren't fitting, things aren't working, they're going to be leaving. So bye. Aries, you have the Queen of Swords. That's the twice you've had the Queen of Swords come in. So, maybe you're upset about something. Maybe you're, assuming something about a situation. Right? I do see communication coming in with you and another Aries. There could be some decisions that need to be made this week about, the connection, where things are going. And, but, we have to use discernment here too, as well. Sometimes things are uncomfortable and pressure. Your person's under a lot of pressure. So if they have a lot going on, it's going to be discernment with you, whether or not you read into this or take it personal if they're not complying with you constantly, or don't always seem like they're showing up for you this week. All right. But I do see conversation coming in with an Aries. Taurus, you could be dealing with a little bit of silent treatment with your Taurus. It may not be intentional, but it looks like, sometimes your Taurus retreats needs things to be kind of quiet so that they can figure out their next move. So it doesn't mean you won't hear from them, but if you're feeling like there's kind of a weird silence between you and a Taurus, they could be overwhelmed at the moment too. All right, they want something to work with you. Remember, the reading is your person is saying, I want this to work. I know we can fix this. I know we can make it happen. But the Two of Pentacles is, you got to work with me, all right? So Gemini, I see the Strength card. So Gemini and you both want it to work. You'll make it work. It looks like pulling through, finding the courage to step up to the situation. So you and Gemini possibly connecting this week. I see Cancer. Cancer here, you got to ask yourself, is this even really what you want? It seems like you've been dealing with a lot of uncertainty and you're always questioning whether or not they're choosing you or not. Now, going back to discernment here with that Queen of Swords for you, sometimes you can feel the love with somebody. You may feel Cancer's attention on you, but ultimately, are you still settling and are you still getting what you really want? So this week here, there could be signs of a Cancer showing up around you and expressing themselves, their feelings towards you, but it still feels like it might not be enough for what you're wanting. I see 8 of Cups for your Leo. So you may be deciding to, call it quits or move on from a Leo this week. Regardless of what's going on, sometimes some of you have been fighting the situation long enough where, it doesn't matter if they want it to work or not. If you're feeling unfulfilled, you may be feeling pulled to kind of go your own way this week. Virgo, I see 2 of Wands. You and Virgo making plans. It looks like they want to connect with you. They want to see you. Libra, I see Tower cards. So Libra could be dealing with something unexpected this week. Maybe you already are aware of this. Often I feel you guys already know somebody's going through some chaos in the background. And what I mean by that is another relationship and a lot of you, have that story going on. So for those of you that don't, it just shows me that your person here is a little unstable at the moment. And that's why things seem a little rocky between you and your Libra. Scorpio, I see 6 of Pentacles. So Scorpio being very generous with their energy this week. You may find yourself, on the same page, whatever that means for you. Like we're finally talking, we're making plans for the future. It seems like they're putting in a little bit more effort or consistency. Sagittarius, Ace of Wands, communication coming in with a Sagittarius. You're on their mind. I mean, they're very passionate about you and they see the potential. Capricorn, I see the Empress card. So, just keep on nurturing and watering this relationship. It seems like it's growing. There's potential for something to manifest this week that makes you feel a little bit more safe in the connection. Aquarius, Knight of Swords. So lots of communication with an Aquarius. Maybe figuring out the direction of this relationship or turning something around, clearing something up with you. And Pisces, I see the 6 of Cups. So you and Pisces falling in love or feeling like you just want to be with each other this week. You could be reminiscing or reaching out to one another just to feel connected. All right, Aries. I have to use these cards today because it's Scorpio moon and I feel really called to them. Hello, Queen Tiki. And I saw somebody say, give something good for Taurus. Hello, Gigi. Armero. Mr. Pops. Hello, guys. I only go live once a week now on All Signs, and I do miss you guys. I feel like when the spring time comes, I feel like I'm going to be back a little bit live more often again. Energy is going to be different in the springtime. But the only thing about going live so much is when you get committed to it, you have to commit to it. And so the days where you can't do a full-blown 4-hour live, you're kind of stuck in it. Let's see, Taurus at 15. But I always enjoyed live because I get to pick up on your energies while you're here. Come on. All right. Taurus. Let's see what's around my Tauruses. Kind of energy I'm picking up on. Ultimately, that could be coming towards you this week. You know, if you guys are single, there's nobody in your life. You know, this is the energy that I'm picking up that's around you possibly as well. And there's opportunities always. Never apologize. If I connect to your energy, it's because I'm meant to. Ice Queen, don't back down is what I'm getting. This Ice Queen wants to come through now twice for Aries and Taurus. So silence, kind of feeling like, you know, somebody here is not communicating with you. But stand your ground is what I'm getting. I mean, you know, the Ice Queen, the Queen of Swords, one of my favorite queens. All the queens are, but the Ice Queen is like, you know, no matter how difficult it is and my feelings are involved, I still know what's right. And, you know, sometimes, you know, if somebody's going to be quiet on you and not speak up and not appreciate or respect, you know, you enough to at least know why they're being quiet on you or not talking to you. I mean, this is something you got to be strong with. As much as we want the connection and it feels good to get the connection with this person, it's teaching them that it's okay to go silent. It's okay to back away and to give me the silent treatment or to block me from knowing what's really going on. So let's see. We have some things take time. And I'm seeing new arrival for some of you. All right. So if you're dealing with somebody that's giving you the silent treatment, this is coming through. I guess today's more of a psychic kind of channeling. Give your person a little bit more time. All right. I know it can be anxious, and I know that word time can be very triggering, especially if some of you have your meter is already empty. You have no more time. Well, that's the Queen of Swords too, says you have to use discernment. If it's your meter's empty, then the hardest part is walking away. All right, because why are you staying? That's the hardest thing. But what I'm picking up here is that your person might be disgruntled or upset or mad about something or dealing with something that's making them mad, or maybe they're not ready to see your perspective of things. And you know what I mean? So I am getting some things take time, that this person will come around. All right. Now I am seeing a new arrival this week, right? So be open to somebody new possibly coming into your life. I know some of you are going to be like, nope, and that's fine. That's fine. You know, leave it for somebody who wants somebody new. But you could possibly have a new relationship. You know, somebody bringing some good news, a new arrival coming into your life this week. And, you know, the good things take time. Sometimes, you know, you just never know when it's going to happen. Maybe you've been feeling like you're waiting forever, and Spirit's like, you know, now maybe it's the right time for the right person. Maybe you're ready for the right person now. All right, so let's see what else I get from my Tauruses. Show me your person around you. Tell me more about the situation around Taurus. All right, we're seeing the Five of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So, you know, ultimately it feels like blame instead of process and emotions. So somebody, you know, gets mad at the world or gets mad at everybody else, gets upset, and maybe, you know, everybody else has to feel it, feel the wrath, right? And you're feeling abandoned, right? It feels like somebody here, you know, has a hard time processing their emotions, and so they go quiet on you. They go silent. and it leaves you questioning things like, what the hell's going on? Talk to me, right? I'm not here to read your mind or figure things out. I really need, that's what I'm picking up on for some of you. Now I have the Two of Swords here, so it tells me ultimately somebody knows what they're doing. They know that they probably should communicate and be more open and honest about what they're dealing with, what they're going through. But it's like they constantly go around in circles and make things more difficult for themselves than they need to, right? So on the fence, though, it does feel like I said, some things take time. So it takes a minute for your person maybe to realize their part in it and what they're doing to you, or how their reactions are making you feel, Taurus. All right. So you may be somebody, that's dealing with somebody that just keeps doing something and they're not getting to some point how guilty or how it's making you feel like you did something wrong. All right. I'm getting the Knight of Pentacles. You have a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy around you. And I have the Eight of Wands. So I do see somebody here that's the pace is going to pick up. It feels like somebody's been stalling or procrastinating on having an honest communication with you. The Two of Swords tells me that this person here may trigger you. And it seems like you're trying to have honest communication with somebody, but every time you try to have a conversation with this person, it may turn into, it goes in the opposite direction than you think it's going to go in. And your person here wants to work things out, but it seems like the two of you really trigger each other and you're not finding some sort of conclusion. They view you, though, Taurus, the Ten of Cups, right? This person really needs you in their life, or they like having you in their life. So whoever needs to hear that, again, discernment. In my readings, please, discernment. If you're dealing with somebody that does not honor you or respect you, this reading might be null and void, right? But this is somebody here that has a hard time expressing their truth, or, Taurus, this person has a hard time hearing the truth, all right? They have a hard time hearing your truth. You got something to say, you speak the truth, you keep it simple, but somebody else here hears what you have to say and they've got to process it. They have to deal with it. But rather than dealing with the truth, they maybe push you away and make you feel like you've done something wrong. So, give it time with this person. I see the love they have for you with the Ten of Cups. So it feels like it may take this person a little bit of time, but they will come around to the situation. What does Spirit think that you should do? The Strength card. Ooh, the Strength card. The Strength in the Queen of Swords has been like past 2 weeks on my channel, right, guys? For some of you that have seen me pull it several times. The Strength card. Sometimes you got to know when to have self-control. You know that you could barge through and make it happen, but sometimes the strength comes in letting somebody sit in their own shit. And as uncomfortable it might feel for you to know that you could fix something, or know that, what if I just say something, or I just push through, we won't have a block there. But ultimately, it won't make you feel satisfied if you're the one doing all the work. All right. So you need this person to step up to you. You need this person. So it's going to take some strength here for you and patience for this person to deal with what it is they need to deal with. And in the meantime, it may feel uncomfortable for you to deal with feelings of being rejected or abandoned, or you feel like somebody here is making you feel pretty shitty. But knowing that this is your person projecting onto you. All right. It's not anything to do with the way they care or feel about you. It has to do with your person facing their own reality. All right. So Aries through Pisces, what to expect, if anything, this week, their energy or feelings. Let them sit in their own shit. Right? I love your person too. I'm always playing. I say both sides here, right? I'm not angry with your person either, but that's the devil, Aries. So Aries is obviously dealing with some heaviness. They could be, facing some of their own truths. Maybe they're triggered. Maybe they're angry. Maybe they're jealous, whatever it is. But there's still an attachment to this connection, and they need to figure out what their problem is. They could be dealing with an addiction. That's a whole nother story. All right. That's a whole nother story. If somebody's dealing with an addiction, there's nothing you can really do about it. It's going to leave you, Taurus, feeling questionable, like you did something wrong, but your person is hiding something from you, most likely an unhealthy habit, and they don't want you to see it. Right. So that's what could be happening with your Aries for some of you. Only take what resonates. Yes, only take what resonates, guys. Taurus, I see the Eight of Cups. All right. So you're ignoring a situation, all right? Choosing your well-being, choosing your emotional health. And, you know, the eight of Cups can be difficult because at some point you have to realize what your options are. And if none of them seem healthy to you in your situation, and if it just seems like even the best case scenario right now doesn't even seem like you're getting enough, you know, the Eight of Cups says you have to make a decision to move on from something and seek something else. You know, it's like, you know, you don't want to settle either. So it looks like you and a Taurus, another Taurus, could be kind of focusing on yourselves this week, doing your own thing, while you're dealing with somebody that needs to deal with their own stuff, their own whatever's going on with them. Gemini. This is not a cross watcher reading. I don't want it to be because I don't want anybody to get triggered or feel triggered. There are times when I can do a cross watcher read and I can really see the dynamic. I wouldn't get triggered if you're a cross watcher, okay? Focus mainly on your reading, your sign. So I'm seeing Nine of Pentacles here for Gemini. It looks like Gemini feeling very sturdy and very stable this week. You may feel like they're invested more this week, or they're showing up for you, being more mature about the situation. So I'm seeing improvement here when it comes to you and Gemini. Cancer, I see Two of Pentacles. You know, it's about adapting to the situation. All right, you're in sort of the beginning stages of a new cycle, however you want to look at it. And the Two of Pentacles says that you guys can make it happen. It's just one day at a time. All right, one day at a time. You could be making plans here, physical plans with the Cancer. We have Leo, Ten of Swords. So Leo is dealing with an ending of some sort, and they may be feeling like when it rains, it pours. You know, it's heavy. Something's weighing on them. You know, and it's like, you know, the good news is the worst part's over. Now we can begin healing. So if your Leo is giving you the silent treatment this week, it's temporary for them to really process what's been going on, especially if they lost someone, a job or a relationship, or you guys just recently broke up, you know, or had a very, very hardcore falling out. You need a little time. And that's what it's saying with a Leo. Virgo, Three of Cups. You and Virgo will get over shit, and you guys will find yourself together talking, hanging out. You guys enjoy each other's company more than you enjoy silence. Libra, High Priestess, they may be silent this week, but they're still thinking about you. It feels as though I'm doing what's best. It's giving me time to realize my truth. Scorpio, I see the Death card, could be going through some sort of grief right now. Something is ending with the Scorpio, and it's inevitable. It does not mean that it's ending with the relationships, Taurus, but it says psychological, something has to change. So maybe Scorpio is going through something that is taking a lot out of them. Maybe something has ended between the two of you, and it's taken a lot out of them. So again, I'm seeing here, some things take time. Maybe it's too soon for you and Scorpio to just, you know, start fresh again, you know, so you are going through a little bit of an ending right here with Scorpio. Sagittarius, Five of Swords. It feels like a lot of confusion between the two of you. So be aware this week, if you're talking to your Sagittarius, that the Five of Swords brings disappointment. It feels like no matter what you say, you're not heard. You explain yourself over and over and over, but you can't seem to win the battle. It feels like constant confusion between you and a Sag. All right. But this seems to be an energy. This too will pass. Try not to read in too much to the situation, unless, of course, you know you're being flat out lied to. All right. This is where you need to be strong and call somebody out. Capricorn, I see King of Wands. Capricorn stepping up to the plate. You know, they want to see the two of you work whatever out, get together, hang out. Very attracted to you. Aquarius, Six of Swords. Aquarius wants to get past whatever and figure out where you guys are headed to. You know, what's next for the two of you. All right, they're trying to clear the path so that the two of you can move forward. Pisces, Two of Wands. So you have a Pisces on the fence here, getting ready to reach out, maybe not wanting to seem too anxious, but wanting to see you again, wanting to make plans with you. All right. Yeah, we're in this. I have to check myself here again today, guys. Let me check myself with whenever I'm in a Scorpio moon. Sometimes I can really trigger people, trigger you guys when I'm reading. And let's kind of soften it up a little bit, Spirit. Let's do this. All right. Let's be nice today. Let's see, Gemini. 30-30. Where's all my Geminis? All right, Gemini. Tell me about who's coming towards Gemini or what's coming towards Gemini, the energy, any goodies, anything that wants to come through. All right, wishes coming true, Gemini. All right, and I'm seeing hot and cold behavior right now. All right. So be careful what you wish for because, you know, I do see not yet. Trust the process, alignment. You know, and I got Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy too. So really speaking to my air signs. I got passion, desire coming your way. And it's easy to read into this hot and cold behavior with somebody because it seems like you really want something to happen now. You really want something. It's definitely very hot and cold, but you're not giving up on the situation. But the biggest challenge is, you know, you're dealing with somebody here that when it's hot, it's hot. And, you know, these mixed signals, but you're not losing faith. Like you just want this to happen. So if you're looking for, and this is somebody here that you're still able to deal with the hot and cold, I see them coming back in. But when I'm seeing this, not yet, it tells me that you may still be dealing with this behavior. It's still playing out for you. So there may not be a lot of change for you when it comes to the aggravation that this might cause. And that's why I'm seeing the star card here too. It's like you've got to decide, you know, the pressure you're going to put on this, and it asks you to release it a little bit and just not let it bother you so much right now. Because it could turn out, it doesn't mean that this relationship couldn't turn out into something more. But what I'm seeing is their behavior is not changing just yet. And I'm always worried more about your mental health probably than and your physical health, right? But to make your week easier, don't put it that much pressure on this situation with this person. They're not going anywhere. They're just not showing up for you just yet. All right, let's see. All right, let's take a look a little further. Spirit, what do you want me to say? I have the Knight of Pentacles. All right, slow ass moving Knight of Pentacles, right? Somebody, it's a knight. It's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. It's somebody that, you know, knights can be, in my opinion, self-centered. And we all have been there. Think about us in our 20s, right? And some of you in your 20s. You know, it's me, 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 me. I'm going after my dreams, right? I want what I want. And we're very ambitious. And, you know, and that's the knights. And so, you know, it's like you want them to be a king, but they're still showing up in as a knight, which means, you know, especially the Knight of Pentacles. This is somebody who's a hard worker, but, you know, they're in their routine. They do their thing. They're not easily changed, you know, like they will show up, they will pull through, but not always on the time when you want them to. You know, it's on their time. And so if you're somebody who's a queen or a king and you're connecting to a knight showing up in your readings, you know, it says, yeah, there's potential there, but you know, you can't parent somebody, but you got to let them do their thing, and you got to step back a little bit or find yourself a king or a queen, right? Let's see. I have Ace of Wands. So the passion's there. So you're definitely on somebody's mind, Gemini. All right. You know, the Four of Wands, though, could be the challenge. Right now, your person here wants to get together, wants to hang out on their time, likes to hang out with you, you know, but you're wanting commitment. You're wanting somebody to fully commit with you right now. And your person here is sort of in this stage of, I've got you on my mind, but you know, let's just see where things go. Let's take it one day at a time here and just focus on getting together. All right. The good news is, you know, the Three of Wands can be a serious energy. It can be somebody wouldn't be playing around with you if they didn't see the potential of the connection. But just because somebody can see the potential of a connection doesn't mean that, you know, they're on the same frequency as you or want the same thing as you do right now. So the timing is off, you know, and you know, that just happens. I've met so many people in my life that I'm like, yeah, they're hot, you know, we could get together, but no, we couldn't. You know, they were in a different part of their life or didn't want to, you know, participate in whatever it is that I'm doing, right? So there's no questioning that this person does not find you very hot or see the potential of this connection. The challenge is getting to that next stage, getting this person to commit, right? How do they view you? The Five of Pentacles. So they can tell that they affect you. They may even know that they make you feel like, you know, there's something wrong or you're not happy with them, right? Or maybe you're thinking this person is rejecting you. And on one level, it does feel like a rejection because you want a commitment with this person, and this person's only willing to step up so much for you. So when you get really close to this person or need them to give you more, this is where this person goes cold on you. All right. This is where it gets to be this little dance you're playing with this person. What does Spirit think you should do? Look at the King of Pentacles is showing up. I mean, sometimes it just speaks for itself. You're the King of Pentacles. You can't stop your life. You can't stop. You got to keep moving forward and, you know, look at what you're up against, and you can't change people. It has nothing to do with you being obviously a king, whether you're a king or a queen. You have a lot to offer, but we're looking at slow and steady, and it feels like, you know, you're connecting with somebody here who isn't quite as sure about their future as you are. So this person is still showing up in your energy. I'm just not seeing any change. All right. So let's see Aries through Pisces and see if we can dive in a little bit more and see their feelings or any energy that comes through for each zodiac sign. You have strong Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn showing up for you too, which a Taurus energy can be very strong, but very slow as well too. They seem to take the longest to commit. We have Aries, Three of Cups. So Aries wants to keep it fun and lighthearted. You may find yourself, you know, socializing with them this week, or they're making plans to go out. But I can see that Aries likes to keep it more social and more casual. Taurus, Ace of Pentacles. All right. So Taurus is telling me a different story. Taurus is telling me that there's potential. You have two aces showing up in this reading. And depending on where you stand in your story with your person, how much effort you put in, how long you've been going at this, you know, how much more can you take, or is this new? If this is new, guys, you have a new earth energy coming in towards you. But Gemini, you're an air sign. You may be questioning everything. But your person here could be more simple than you think. They're just moving a little bit slower, and they're slower to commit. But I can see a Taurus here. You're on their mind. And it looks like you may have a Taurus that wants to make an offer. Gemini, Page of Swords. You have lots of questions trying to figure things out. Maybe Spirit's just asking you to trust the process, right? Unless, of course, you have to ask a lot of questions. You know, if you're feeling a certain way, but you're not getting the answers, you know, trust your intuition. But I am seeing lots of communication that needs to happen. You know, maybe some questions need to be answered. You and another Gemini communicating with each other this week. I have Cancer. I see the Six of Pentacles. You know, Cancer invested in this. You may find that a Cancer is being more consistent with you this week. Leo, Seven of Cups. You know, this Seven of Cups energy is, you know, does anything, it's just, I'm always wanting more. I always feel like I'm never getting enough, or, you know, yeah, there's possibilities here, but am I cutting myself short? Is this really going anywhere? There's just so many uncertainties when it comes to a Leo, that is it worth it? You know, that's the only thing this asks. It says that they think about you, they think about the possibilities. A Leo has feelings for you, but that still doesn't get us anywhere. We need to make a choice here. So still some uncertainty between you and a Leo. Virgo, I see Queen of Cups. Virgo and their feelings for you. You know, of course, if you're dealing with somebody who is in a third-party situation, your situation is going to be complicated. All right, it's not going to happen overnight. There is another person invested. But if some of you, you know, don't even put that there if it's not there. But I am seeing here there's a lot of feelings for you. They're growing, and you guys definitely have a deep bond here. So there's something happening between you and a Virgo. Libra, I see the High Priestess, right? This is Libra. I don't want to miss. People have been telling me I've been missing lately. Libra's got their eye on you, but, you know, they're definitely kind of hanging out on the sidelines, you know, not quite sure what to think or what to do. So they're waiting for the clues, waiting to figure out what they really want. And to be honest, when I see the High Priestess in a person's position, it tells me that they're really wanting to make the right choice. They don't want to. So if they pulled away from you, it's for a good reason. So I am seeing some silence here with you and a Libra. Scorpio, Queen of Swords, conversation coming in. Maybe you need to set some boundaries with a Scorpio, especially if there is a third party. Sagittarius, I see King of Swords, so Sag stepping up, communicating their truth with you. So, you know, they're going to, a Sag, you're going to be blunt, truthful, and, you know, trust what they say. Capricorn, I see the Nine of Swords, maybe feeling like they owe you an apology. Aquarius, Two of Cups, you and Aquarius, you know, you guys have feelings developing for one another, and may find yourself talking things through this week, or talking about a date or getting together. The beginning of a relationship is forming with you and Aquarius. Now, Pisces, you may still find yourself separated if you've been separated, and maybe too soon to reconcile. Hello, Allurin. Hello, Quantum. Hello, Ian. All right, let's see. Let's see, Cancer. 43. Guys, send some love to Archer. You know, he's still ongoing, you know, some struggles, you know, family and so forth. So I want to send you some love, Archer, in hopes that this all clears up for you as quickly as possible. All right. I'm glad it was. Thank you for letting me know. All right. Cancer. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Again, sending Archer some love his way. Let's see. Cancer. You're looking at the energy, or who's coming towards you, what's coming towards you, feelings, energy, whatever comes through, guys. I'm feeling just, I have to be that way today. Just whatever comes through. If you are single, don't worry. I'm not, the energy is also saying this could be an opportunity for you as well too. So you don't really need to focus too much on the feelings portions, but just know that there could be a presence around you or an opportunity coming your way. Healing and self-care. Look at that. We were just talking about Archer, and so holding space for you right now, but healing and self-care, is happening around you. And I'm seeing happily ever after. So a relationship, definitely a relationship dynamic showing up for you, Archer. Hey, Archer, maybe, I got you on. He's fresh on my mind because I had talked to him earlier. And I'm seeing working on it and planning. So, it is what it is. We just got to hold a little bit of space, hold a little bit of love for yourself, Cancer, right now. All right. Things to me in this reading right now for this week is, it's going to work itself out. You're dealing with a situation that is taking a little bit more finagling, a little bit more of, maybe we, need to understand something, or there's something else happening. Maybe there is a third party. Maybe somebody is trying to figure out, how to make it work with you, and so forth. But we are seeing threes show up for you, so you're not alone. There is a presence around you, and it looks like, planning on reaching out to you or planning on getting together with you is what's coming through. And this looks like a long-term type of relationship, something that, through time and planning and effort could actually, it'll be one of these days where you look back in the past and say, remember when? All right, so show me what else is coming up for. I have the Empress card here too. So it sounds to me, Cancer, this week is a week for you to really focus on what you can control. The seeds have been planted. It looks like a relationship is forming for you. And a very divine connection, especially with the Empress energy showing up. So if those of you are really feeling like you're in this really real situation and it feels like, I know we can make this work, that's the kind of energies coming through. Now, the thing with, the 10 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles as the challenge is sometimes it feels like somebody's not putting in the work, or, the other person feels like they're doing more than the other, or they care more than the other, and this could be true. This could be your person isn't putting in enough effort. But it seems to me that something's changing, something's happening here, where the person who I'm picking up on is realizing what maybe they want to do or what they need to do in this connection for it to grow. All right, because we are seeing something manifest for you this week around this situation. Taurus, Libra energy is showing up. So relationship, somebody may be figuring out what they truly value, what they want in love. Sometimes when you're down and out, who do you think about? The person that makes you feel the best, or somebody, so that could be what's happening. Your person is really missing your energy. What's underneath that? I see the Magician card too. So, all right, I'm getting the World card here to start with. So we're seeing somebody's definitely closing up a certain chapter. And I'm seeing the 4 of Pentacles and the 10 of Swords. All right. Well, it looks as though what you're up against right now is maybe somebody else closing a chapter, right? So what do you do when somebody's going through something? Is somebody losing their, the World card, something, a major accomplishment in their life, which could be with the 4 of Pentacles, somebody here losing money, losing their job, losing their family, losing something, something is coming to a close. The 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Swords. So we're seeing that your person here is really dealing with a difficult time, and they can't give to you the energy that you're wanting from them. So their focus has been taken off of this connection with you, but it's only temporary. You have the 3 of Pentacles, the 4 of Pentacles here. Somebody's still got a grip on this connection with you. You're being asked this week to really focus on yourself while somebody else is finishing up a chapter in their life. All right, giving yourself a little breathing room and trusting with that Empress card that something is unfolding in your favor. What does Spirit think you should focus on? The Devil cards, you know, what's coming up for you? What are your biggest fears? You know, the Empress card, the Devil card can be insecurities. Feeling very insecure about ourselves, insecure about the situation, wanting to make something happen, control something, when the Empress is more of a laid back feminine energy that says, I know what I deserve, I know what's mine, and attract it to you. But this week you could be dealing with some insecurities coming up for you, and you may be focused so much on a situation, but if somebody else is dealing, if some of you are the other woman or there's another situation going on, and you're not knowing exactly where you stand right now, there is your person here. Are they going through an ending? Are they going through a divorce? You know, it doesn't mean they let go of you, but they only can handle one situation at one time. Right? But for you, it might feel differently. So you're being asked to take your focus off it a little bit this week and let your person play out, let the situation play out. What's your person's next actions towards you? I see the Wheel of Fortune and I see the Temperance card. All right, so they'll be back around, but it could take some time. All right. Aries through Pisces, you have Sagittarius, you have Capricorn showing up for you. The World card and the Wheel of Fortune. You are really dealing with some karma here. Somebody wants to be in this connection with you, and what I'm hearing from them is I'm working on it. It might not seem like it to you because you're not seeing the movement, but your person, it seems like they're working overtime. They're dealing with some karma. And you can see the karma in here with the Devil, the Wheel of Fortune, and the World card, and even the Temperance card. It's like, you know, some things, again, take time here. So if you're connected to an Aries, you know, the Hanged Man, it may feel like it's not going anywhere right now. And honestly, you are being asked to let go a little bit of it because there's nothing more you can do for this situation to change. Taurus, I see the Seven of Swords, right? So maybe you're feeling like they're being dishonest to you. Maybe there's a lot going on behind the scenes, Cancer. Maybe they are lying to you. So I would ask some questions this week. They could be not telling you the whole truth about a situation they're dealing with. Gemini, Nine of Cups. Gemini desires a connection with you. It looks like they're really trying to work on a way to get this connection off the ground. Cancer, you have the Ten of Wands. There's nothing more that you can do with the situation that you're dealing with. All right. If you have put in all kinds of work with the situation and you are feeling like there's just, you know, you want to do something, you want to push something, there's nothing more. Now it's like the process of your person, you know, it has to be the one to clear up something that they're dealing with in order for this relationship to flourish. So if you're focused on it so much, it's only going to stress you out. And this Devil card, you may make choices based off of this anxiety that you're dealing with. Leo, I see the Death card. So something could be ending, or Leo's dealing with some grief behind the scenes, maybe ego death, loss of something, someone, a situation. Maybe you feel like it's over between you and a Leo, but that part of the relationship is over. It doesn't mean the relationship's over. We have to end something that wasn't working for us. Virgo, I see the Queen of Cups. Virgo's got love for you. All right, processing their feelings for you. I feel like you'll hear from a Virgo this week. Libra, Eight of Swords. There's a lot of doubt here with a Libra. They may have a lot of external noise going on around them. They may feel stuck in their situation. So your Libra here is, you know, overwhelmed, to say the least. Scorpio, I'm seeing Nine of Swords, right? So Scorpio here also feeling, you know, maybe they feel bad or feel upset about the way they've dealt with something with you, and maybe they're hoping for forgiveness with you. But something's not sitting well, or they're dealing with getting ready to lose something that you're unaware of. And they're dealing with a lot of pain in their life. Sagittarius, I see the Sun card. So things are about to change and grow with the Sagittarius. All right, you're about to see the sunny side of things. Remember, you're at the 10. You had the world, the wheel of fortune. So it feels like a very strong pivotal point for you when it comes to relationship. We're seeing a renewal here with a Sag. Capricorn, same thing, King of Wands. Capricorn is getting their, momentum up, courage up. It looks like wanting to express themselves to you. You have a strong pull with a Capricorn. Aquarius, could be dealing with their responsibilities, dealing with relationship stuff, or, maybe just trying to take care of business, but they see you as very important in their life. Pisces, Ace of Cups. Pisces got love for you. Looks like an offer. Wanting to clear things up so that they can start fresh with you. All right. UK. A lot of rain in UK. It's starting to clear up here with the coldness. It was very cold in, where I'm at for I couldn't believe how cold it got. I was actually bundled up for a few days. All right. Leo. All right, Leo, 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 Leo. "15 days." I love this card. There's only one card in this deck that gives timing, and this is it. So Leo, something really big happening in 15 days, 15 weeks, April 15th, right? Are you dealing with an Aries? Luck is on your side and some good news coming in for my Leo. It says April 15, right? But I'm going to pull, look, it says April 15, but it also says days and it says weeks. So that's why I say that, it could be 15 minutes, 15 hours, 15 months. We don't want to go that far though. Right? Tax day. That's right. Right. So maybe by tax day, you got some good news coming in. All right. You got some good news coming in. We're going to be hearing a lot about Aries. Definitely hearing a lot about Aries. There's that Ice Queen again. What's going on with the Ice Queen? Some of, where do I stand? Same thing that's been coming up a couple weeks now. Where do I stand? Some of you guys are getting really sick of questioning where you stand with somebody. And that's what's happening in the collective too. If we're still hanging on to situations and we just don't know where we stand anymore and we can't figure it out, eventually it's going to collapse. You can only handle it so much. You can only handle uncertainty for so long. But it seems like, you want answers. You want to know where you stand. You want somebody to speak up. You want, but you're getting don't back down either. So don't back down. Yeah, well, I know Shamrock is tax day. Why do they have to do that? And then they put Valentine's Day in Aquarius. And Aquarius don't give a shit about Valentine's Day. That's more of a Pisces. Not that Aquarians don't, but us water energy is all about Valentine's Day. I'm speaking very general, so I know that that's not true, right? For everyone. Let's see. Ace of Wands. That's also Aries energy right there. So we've got a lot of Aries energy showing up for you. Initiation, somebody initiating. So if you've been waiting for somebody to finally step up and initiate, here it comes. That's the kind of energy that I'm getting for you, Leo. All right. You don't always need to be the one to, you know, to initiate. You don't always need to be the one to, you know, I just feel like something good coming your way. Let's just leave it at that. I think my Leos need to hear that. Something really good is coming your way. You're on somebody's mind. Ace of Wands. All right. Somebody definitely has got their eye on you, the potential passion. And I have the Knight of Cups showing up. So it could be a water sign. You know, we're talking about water. Maybe by Valentine's Day, right? Wouldn't that be sweet? You're an aqua moon and you hate Valentine's Day. See? So there could be a romantic date coming your way, Leo. You know, don't back down though. You know, I can't help but see that. It's like, yeah, you got somebody coming in charming you. You know, somebody, you know, really wanting to connect with you. But where do I stand? If this is somebody that does this to you all the time, you know, yeah, they can sweet talk their way. It seems like this could be a sweet talker coming back in. And so you got to be careful with that. All right. So, you know, staying true to your boundaries. Obviously, somebody has feelings for you, but you let them get away with too much. Enough's enough, right? But, you know, for the newness, though, it does feel like my Leos do have some romance coming your way. All right. So prepare for maybe somebody to ask you out on a date. If you're new, if you're single, look, if you're single, you've got to put yourself out there. I'd love to be magical for you, and I really do a lot behind the scenes when it comes to magic and stuff. But I just can't. If I find them, I'll try. Give me your address. I'll try and send them to your house. But you gotta take the actual steps to bring love into your life. Sometimes we run into them on the outside, but we have the Hierophant. So the challenge could be commitment, though, you know, but the challenge can be not necessarily just commitment with you and this person, but what you value. You know, your person obviously is in love with you, obviously, you know, gets wooed by you, but you're wanting more consistency and stability in this relationship, and that's going to be a challenge. It's still showing up for you. So you may get what you want. You know, you got this good news coming in. So I'm hoping your person is going to initiate and step up for you. But I am still seeing that there is questionable on values, like where you stand when it comes to commitment and where this person stands when it comes to commitment. All right, but this person is very focused on you, and it looks like there is potential for you guys to make it work. This person ultimately does want to see where something goes with you. So whether they're just playing games with you, and I don't like the playing games, you know, that some of you deal with. When I'm saying maybe kind of, you know, teasing a little bit, you know, teasing with you, but still, I wouldn't back down from consistency. Somebody needs to show up for you. It looks like consistency is coming your way. What does Spirit think you should focus on? I see the Five of Swords. All right. Your mind, first and foremost, right? But over-explaining yourself. So it's pretty straightforward here. You don't need to say anything any other way. Your person knows what you want. All right. You've said it clear. You've given direct signals. You have been 100% straightforward. You know why? Because the Queen of Swords. You definitely have spoke your truth to somebody. So there's really no over-explaining or trying to figure out another way to get what you want or say what you want. All right. No more games is right here, the Five of Swords. So no more backing down. If this is your person coming back in, It does look like you have this energy of somebody that can charm you, somebody who always seems to get what they want, or this could be a person who really gets you because there's a lot of attraction there between the two of you. The challenge is going to be making sure you both are on the same page when it comes to, are we really making this happen this week? So discernment. If you are connected to an Aries, I see the Devil card. All right. So you got your Aries showing up, little devil. All right. You guys have a strong attachment, very lustful energy between the two of you. All right. Spiritual lessons right there. That screams spiritual lesson here. So you know what your lesson is with this person. Don't let them get what they want until you get what you want. Taurus, I see 5 of Wands. So Taurus here, it's very challenging with the Taurus for you. I know it is. It has to be fire and earth, but it's a challenge that you guys can get through. It looks like your Taurus here is pushing through, is trying to fix it, is working on it, putting more action and effort towards this connection. So you may have a Taurus that actually initiates change. Gemini, Knight of Pentacles. So Gemini coming in, be careful with a Gemini. Sometimes my Knight of Pentacles makes a lot of promises and don't always follow through, especially when the devil is around that close to it, or when the challenge is the Hierophant. Cancer, I see the Hermit card. So Cancer still maybe keeping distance from you right now, but the light's still on here. You're dealing with somebody who, is a loner, somebody who goes their own way. So it's not a question of whether this person wants to see you or likes connecting with you. It's a question of consistency. You're dealing with somebody who doesn't need to be around you as much as you them. And that doesn't mean they're not attracted to you. It doesn't mean that they don't love you or want you. It's their personality. And it's really hard for somebody who wants somebody's attention all the time to deal with somebody who doesn't need somebody's attention all the time. All right. And, do what you will with that. But that's also a question of, is this person really for you? Right? Leo, I see Page of Swords. So you have conversation coming in with the Leo, all right, expressing themselves. Again, there's a lot of questions. This could be, the Page of Swords is showing up in your reading, which is you got a lot of questions. Make sure you're getting the answers. All right. None of this, playing games through text and, bullshit coming through. And you got to make sure they're answering your questions. Virgo, 3 of Pentacles. Virgo want to make it work with you. You guys making some plans, getting together here, trying to work on things, right? Libra, Page of Cups. You have Libra's heart. All right, their feelings are always growing for you. I see a little crushy poo here with you and a Libra. Scorpio is a fool for you, but be careful because they can be an avoidant too. Scorpio is going to come back into your life and be like, all right, let's just take it as it is, because that's a way of saying, I don't want to commit. I don't want to get attached yet, but I want to play it off like, oh, it's cool, so be careful with that. All right, because it is a fresh start with you and a Scorpio, but at the same time, you don't want to jump in with somebody who is still trying to avoid commitment. All right, Mama Frankie. All right, Sagittarius, 10 of Wands, heavy energy with Sagittarius, but the hardest part's over. All right, they're reaching a breaking point. They got to give in or give up, right? So this week you could be figuring out whether or not your Sagittarius is going to finally give in or give up. Bottom line. We have Capricorn, 4 swords. Capricorn's taking some time to really think about what's important to them. You're on their minds, all right? So if they are giving you a little bit of, they're holding back a little bit of silence, it's not going to last for long. It feels like they don't like being away from you or they don't like not talking to you. And if it's a habit, though, this is one that you may need to confront this week with constantly doing the silent treatment with the Capricorn. Aquarius, 10 of Cups. Aquarius, and you finding yourself in a relationship. All right, you're working through whatever it is you're getting through. It's your story. Only you guys can define it. Pisces, I see 4 of Wands. You and Pisces finding your way together this week. Maybe getting together, making plans, or talking about future commitment. I'm always about respect and love, guys. You know, I don't know. I try to stay when I'm reading on a level of what I want for myself and what I would want for you. What would I, and I don't want to call in, but it's not my place. But, you know, what to expect from me. I guess I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say. You guys know what I'm trying to say. I was answering a chat thing and I just got lost on a little tangent. Let's see. Virgo. $110. All right, Virgo. The reason why I love Valentine's Day is because it makes everybody think about love or expressing love, and more people are thinking about it than normal. All right, even if it's fake, even if it's like, oh, I gotta give somebody a gift, right? We're still stopping and thinking for a minute. I wish it wasn't, a holiday, a Hallmark money, but ultimately it does make people focus on expressing their love. Can we talk? Virgo has a conversation coming your way. All right, 1111 when I said that, 11111 on the clock. So we need to talk about something. We need to have a real conversation. And it's going to be different for each and every one of you. Somebody wanted to confess. Sometimes it's something we don't want to hear. But we always want the truth, right? I have hot and cold behavior underneath that. So it does feel like maybe you've been questioning, why is somebody being quiet? Why is somebody, one minute it seems like, things are going good. The next minute I'm getting mixed signals, right? So I am picking up on that kind of energy here. And maybe somebody wanted to confess something that is going on behind the scenes, or what's really going on. And most likely it's, to me, it's always a question of commitment. It's, I have time for a new direction. Changes are ahead. Which it looks like a conversation about which direction is this relationship really going in is coming in from my Virgos. You're at a crossroads. This is going to be a week of crossroads. It's like, it's time for a new direction, whether it is with your person or with a new person. Something, has to get we have to throw our cards on the table, get all our truths out, and figure out, are we going to continue in this old narrative, or are we going to move into a new direction? Because it seems like if you're dealing with hot and cold behavior, it's because somebody is avoiding you. And that's hard truth, and it can be avoiding you because they don't know what, every time they try to tell you something, maybe you take it the wrong way, or, maybe they know you're not going to like what they want to hear, and so forth. But it can't keep you. If it's keeping you stuck, this is where we need to have this talk about where this relationship is going. I'm seeing blocked and silence. It's like, it seems like there's a lot of silent treatment. There's a lot happening that you guys are keeping tucked. We're not speaking what's really going on. And if you're finding that you're keeping everything tucked, that's not getting you anywhere with your person. All right. Being honest conversation is what's really what seems to be the energy of the week. It's time to have this conversation and be real with it. So let's see what else I get. Now, these two cards can represent both of you, you know? It can represent, you know, you feeling like you're constantly blocked, or you feel like you're in silence and you're not being heard. All right. And I am seeing the Eight of Swords here at the bottom of the deck. So there's a lot of pain here that's happening between the both of you. You know, are we holding on to something that's not serving both of us? You know, are we focused on all the negative stuff that keeps happening and we're blocking ourselves from moving forward? Are we letting our own insecurities or limiting beliefs get in the way of our connection, and it's constantly blocking growth? That's what's coming up. It's more of a psychological thing. Your person, Four of Wands, somebody feels very comfortable with you, or did at once, you guys, if you were in a relationship, or if you guys have gotten together, this person feels very comfortable with you and has respect for you. All right. The challenge, though, is the Nine of Pentacles. How they view you, the Moon card. What does Spirit think you should do? And I see the Three of Wands. All right. You got to decide what you want, Virgo. Your person's kind of looking at you like no matter what, you may always have your options open, or you're settling, or you're just hanging around, but you change. I am seeing also here sort of a hot, cold behavior too coming from you, because your person views you as emotional. And sometimes 1 minute you might be one way, but then you change. You're very overwhelmed and uncertain about the future. And it seems to me, I'm looking at you first here, because it seems to me like you question where you're really going. You're not even sure about where you want to go, what that looks like. And the challenge with your person here, you know, the Four of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles, right? It's like they want to see you guys get to that Four of Wands, but for some reason there seems to be a codependency or an insecurity that is blocking this from happening. You know, I feel like your person is starting to question whether or not you're just hanging on to them because you don't know where you want to go. If something better were to come around, would you choose somebody new? If Jason Momoa, or, you know, I used to say that because I used to have a crush on him, but were to come in, would you run off with him, or would you stay with your person? You know, it comes down to that kind of stuff, because your person may see you as a little bit unclear and uncertain in your direction, and you're sort of following whatever happens with this person. And so they're questioning whether or not you really do see a future with them. Or, you know, are you just, you know, stuck on them for some reason because you don't know what's next? All right, give me one more about this. It's like the Death card, but these cards are all upside down, but it was in reverse. It feels like you're afraid to see something end. It feels like you're afraid to let something go. But I'm feeling like there's a conversation this week, either with yourself or with somebody else. And you need to ask yourself, what are we hanging on to here? What's this really about? Are you just afraid to see what's out there? Are you afraid because you don't really know what direction you're moving in? The Moon card. And so your person here, it feels like there's a question here between, do you want your freedom, or do you really want to be committed to this person? Or are you hanging on to them just because you're afraid to move forward? But you may be thinking this person is being, it's them. But that's what projection is, you know? This person may be picking up from you like you're not really happy, even if you're with them. So you have a lot to ask. There's a lot coming up for you right now, Virgo. about your relationship and about being honest with yourself. Because for some of you, this relationship that I'm picking up on right here, it feels like the two of you could go to the next level if it was meant to be. But if there's any question that there's, or doubt that there's something better out there, that's going to be a constant block. And your person's going to feel that. I have Pisces, Cancer energy, Scorpio energy. This is a deeper reading, and there's a major block here, but one that needs to be confronted. If you're connected to an Aries, let's see their real feelings and see any actions. All right, I see the 10 of Cups. So you have an Aries here that really does see a potential future with you. You could be in a relationship or forming a relationship. Maybe you're already in a relationship with an Aries, but I am seeing it's time for a new direction. We got to figure out where things are really going and if you really want to be in this relationship. Taurus, I see 6 of Pentacles. The Taurus wants to see things play out with you as well. Looks like consistency coming in with a Taurus, but it's talking about a new negotiation. We need to talk about the rules of this relationship here. We need to make sure we're both getting what we need from this connection. I am seeing Gemini, Ace of Cups. So Gemini's got love for you. You know, it just feels like they want to see where things are going. Maybe it's kind of early here, or there's a new offer coming in with a Gemini. For some of you, we are seeing the new direction, so changes are ahead. There could be a new Gemini coming your way. Cancer, I see Lover's card. You guys have a choice to make. You know, the Lover's card, I get it. You guys feel a strong pull, strong bond, but sometimes love overrides logic, and yet we're hurting each other. You know, we have to make a choice, make a decision of where things is really going. Is our love for each other really hurting or triggering each other? Are we growing, or do we really need to make a choice to move on? You know, that's what it feels like your reading is about. I see a Cancer's got deep love for you, so you guys have an important choice to make. Leo, 6 of Wands. All right, Leo's in it to win it. Leo wants to make it work with you, wants your attention. Virgo, 4 of Swords. So you're getting the card of silence. You're getting the card of silence, 4 of Swords. You know, overwhelmed, meditating, really being honest with yourself. This reading's all about you, not your person, because you got somebody around you that really wants to connect with you or always wanted to connect with you. But it seems like the question is coming from you. You know, because even if you have this person around you, are you happy? So there could be a little silence or a conversation that needs to have, breaking the silence with a Virgo this year. Libra, I see the Tower card. So there could be a major turning point with you and a Libra this week. You're seeing a Tower, which breaking down the truth, you know, realizing the truth and deciding what's next. Scorpio, the Fool. Scorpio getting the Fool card again. All right, so Scorpio here, you got to hold them accountable. You know, they may show back up for you, but it seems like you never know if they're committed or not. Sagittarius, Page of Wands. All right, so Sag looks like they're trying to put a smile on your face. You know, you may get some flirting or fun conversation with a Sag. Capricorn, love and energy with the Capricorn. So it looks like they're falling for you, and they really do want to make it work with you. Aquarius, King of Wands. All right, Aquarius here thinking about the future. It feels like, you know, I want what you want. We can make it happen. But we got to, you know, step up to the plate. So hopefully they are stepping up to the plate with you or for you. Pisces, Queen of Pentacles. So Pisces also thinking about you. Pisces, you know, Pisces is all about you, but may feel like, you know, they can't meet your expectations or reach your standards. You have high standards. All right, let me cleanse a little bit before I get into Libra. We're at the halfway mark. We are moving on to Libra right now. We're halfway through. So this is usually the turning point. I'm just trying to clear up the energy a little bit. Guys, I just heard the door real quick. There's a package coming. I don't want to leave it outside. I just need 2 seconds. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Hello, learning to see me. All right. I just ran up those stairs. All right, Libra. We're looking at the energy this week. Who or what's coming towards you? Today is whatever spirit, whatever's coming through, you know. Oh, sorry, Libra. I forgot to put the banner. Whatever comes through. Thank you, ma'am. All right, my lovely Libras. Let's see. Libra, 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 Libra. I was. All right. Hot and cold behavior again for you. I've been picking up a lot today on this, you know, if you're dealing with somebody, Libra, that really confuses you. One minute it's hot, next minute it's, you know, you just don't know, you know. Maybe that's you too. You know, the Two of Swords can be, you know, sometimes you're in it, sometimes you're not sure, you know. And that seems to be the theme today with a lot of the signs. It's like, are we doing things out of boredom, or are we really into somebody, or is, you know, everybody a little bit afraid to commit? I'm actually starting to believe that most of us are really, because, you know, are just, you know, as soon as we're getting close to commit to somebody, we sabotage the situation too. Not everybody, but. So that's what's going on. Let's see. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy around you. And I also have Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. But the problem is stability. A lot of talk, no action. A lot of talk, no, not feeling stable. And the Two of Swords, it's like you feel feelings for these people. I know you do. I can feel it in the reading. It's like one minute it's like, yeah, like if this would work, I would make this work, right? It feels like if they would just be more consistent, or if I, you know, if I just felt like, you know, I knew where things stood, I would probably be all in. But there's too much inconsistency showing up. You know, we talk a good game, we get along, we socialize, we text, we, you know, it all seems good, but when it comes down to, you know, following through or taking action or grounding in or stabilizing something, That's where I see the earth energy here that says, wait a minute, this is where the challenge is. It all sounds good in theory and logic, but nothing's happening. So you may get a lot of talk this week, right? You may be talking about a lot of things. You may be trying to figure out a lot of things. You know, it doesn't mean that the connection that you're connecting with is anything wrong with it. It just feels like there's still an uncertainty of where things are going. You know, kind of up in the air. Let me get a good shuffle here. All right, Knight of Wands, 2 at the bottom of the deck. You got a lot of signs here, so I will go through Aries through Pisces. The Sun card. You have a Leo for you know, in your person's energy. But the challenge here is the Page of Wands. How do they view you? The Fool card. Non-committal. They view you as the Fool energy. Like, it gets started, something feels good, but then they're uncertain. They're uncertain about, it's like the Sun card is somebody just trying to take it day by day. The Page of Wands is the problem. And the Page of Wands is somebody who ultimately just wants to have fun. You know, it's a sexual energy. It can be, you know, I want to play all the time. I want to go to concerts all the time. I want to go do stuff all the time. I want to have my freedom. I want to make choices when I feel like making choices. You have a strong Aries energy. So it feels like, you know, your person's challenge is they like to initiate. They like to be in control. They like to be even the center of attention. You know, you have Leo energy. You have the Sun. You have childlike energy, children. So there could be children too involved. But it feels like the way they view you is the Fool card. Like they can't tell where things are going with you either. So read it how you will. It could be both of you or one or the other. Is very non-committal, but it doesn't mean there's not love growing, because it shows that I'm in love with you. It shows that I'm attracted to you. It shows that I have, but this is somebody I'm picking up on that is all about, I just want to take it day by day. I'm avoiding commitment. And for some of you, it may feel like the spark's flying, but it never gets going. You know, it's fun. It's fun in the moment. It gets good one minute. It's really fun. You know, the sexual energy, you know, it seems like you're connecting with somebody too that may enjoy the highs, but when things get serious or, you know, down, you know, it's like they back away a little bit. They don't want to plan that far ahead, maybe. Can be very impulsive energy too. So with somebody who's like this, it can mean one minute it feels like, oh, they promise you the world, or they are so excited, and then the next minute it's like there's sort of a foolish behavior here. You know, it seems like it's a very young energy. So this is who's showing up in your energy this week. You know, you have a lot of fire, you have a lot of passion, you have somebody who definitely could be in love with you, but you have somebody here who either is not sure where they want things to go with you. That's why the Fool card is here. They don't know what the plan is, and they're not trying to make a plan, which can seem like they're avoiding you. Or they can see you as that way. Like you're just kind of taking it kind of lackadaisical, you know, let's see where things go. And it's just, to me, that's where the issue is coming out. It's not, you know, you got a lot of air, communication, passion, but no stability. So what does Spirit think you should do? I got the Devil card. All right. So, you know, what this tells me is, how bad is it fucking with you? You know, passion, intensity, lust is good. But you have the devil, the fool, the devil, the page, the devil, the sun. You're talking about a good time. When it's good, it's good. But when it gets real, sometimes it just feels like a lot of triggering. You know, this person's got you hooked. They've got your emotions hooked, you know. Whatever this person does, whatever their actions are, if they don't take action towards you, it looks like it could really trigger you. And maybe you feel impulsive or you get shooken up a little bit and maybe you overreact because there is a sense of overreacting here at times. And then we clear things up and we talk and everything's fine. So it's hot and cold, but it never gets grounded. So I do see that this same energy is showing up for you this week. It doesn't feel like you're getting some sort of serious conclusion, but you are getting what you want. You're getting the connection, but it's not going anywhere. So Spirit's like, you know, the devil card. You've got to look at what it's doing to you. And if it's really weighing on you, if it's really helping you, or is it triggering you to deal with patience? Is it triggering you to grow? Is it triggering you to step out of your comfort zone? Only you can answer these questions. But I can see that this person really triggers you. But there's also a very strong bond there that's growing too. Because we can get attached to this kind of behavior too. It can be fun at times, you know, but then sometimes it's just at some point it starts to feel like, what are we doing here? All right, so anything else about this? And I'll go through Aries to Pisces. Look at the Queen of Pentacles. We got to get serious. And I feel like today in my readings, it is about that. It's like this week, it's like if you're still hanging on back and forth, and this has been like, it gets to a point where we just got to ask ourselves, is it harder to stay or harder to go? You know, we got to move forward because we need earth here. So this week could be talking about plans. We need to discuss where things are really going here. Aries, I see 10 of Pentacles. There is potential for you and an Aries. Aries is very strong in your reading here. You saw the fire. All right. There is the 10 of Pentacles, you know, so it looks like you could establish some sort of consistency with an Aries. Taurus, 8 of Wands, you know, when it's fun and it's good. It's very sexual. But when, you know, the 8 of Wands is saying we need to have an honest conversation because the passion's there and you get, you know, swept off your feet with your Taurus, right? But as soon as the heavy conversation comes in, the action stops. We gotta make a decision here because we can easily lose your shit. This is your energy. You can easily lose your shit if a Taurus here, you know, things are intense and then they stop. Gemini, I see justice. So you may get some sort of truth or finally realize some sort of truth with Gemini this week. All right. The justice card says we need to figure something out and, you know, make peace with the situation or finally be fair with one another. So there could be closure coming in with you and a Gemini. Cancer has got love for you, Knight of Cups. You know, so I feel more of a heartwarming type of energy around your Cancer this week. You know, you may open up and really talk about your feelings. Go on a date too. Leo, I see the 9 of Cups. Leo definitely desires you. They could be a little selfish at times. And that could be the problem. You know, it's, you know, you got the devil, you got the Page of Wands, you've got the Sun card. It's a childish behavior. Sometimes it's all about me, right? Me. But it looks like your Leo definitely desires and wants you too to be a part of this. Virgo, I see the Page of Cups. So we're seeing, you know, feelings growing between you and a Virgo. I'm seeing them conversating with you, maybe opening up about their feelings. Some sweet nothings coming your way. Libra, you have the Ace of Swords. Decision-making time. Cutting through the BS time. Getting to the point time. Clarity time. One of your, you know, best qualities, be able to see the truth, see clarity, see everything. But then second guessing yourself is is something that I find that my Libras do a lot of, you know. It's like you're afraid to fully commit to your own choice because what if you are wrong, you know? But you're never going to know if you are if you don't commit to something. So it looks like this week you are being asked to kind of be clear on a situation. And conversation may be coming between you and another Libra. Scorpio, same thing, 2 of Swords. So Scorpio may be going back and forth with you too, you know? I mean, you know, you got to make sure you're on the same page here. A difficult conversation needs to be had with your Scorpio. That doesn't mean it's going to end. It doesn't mean that. But we've obviously got to figure out why this keeps going back and forth. You know, the flip-flopping around or the inconsistencies is not enough anymore, because it's definitely going to lead to some disappointment if we don't make a decision. Somebody or something, or it's going to decide for itself. Sagittarius, King of Swords. See Sag coming in, communication with some truth. You know, they see you. They see your side of things. I feel like your Sag will open up and see your side of things. I love my Sag and Libras. I just really do think you guys get along great. Capricorn, Strength card. It's all about patience with one another. You know, it's like, you know, Scorpio, Sag, Cap. You have the Devil card. So it can be easy to want to lose your shit with your Capricorn. You know, but you got something going on here, the Strength card, and you know, maybe Capricorn is trying to hold it together too. You got, you know, the Devil card, you know, but you have some major arcana here, and it's there's a bond here, but we got to be real, we got to make it work, you know. 2 very powerful combinations. Maybe there's control, or they're trying to control the situation. But I am seeing a bond here that, you know, we got to figure out what the problem is, you know, and confront it. Be strong enough to confront the situation. Aquarius, Ace of Cups, right? Aquarius got love for you. Aquarius, you know, it's like, let's just see. Maybe they'll open up. Maybe you guys will reconcile. Maybe you guys will give it a chance. But we are seeing love here with an Aquarius. Pisces, 7 of Wands. Pisces may finally speak up, speak their truth too. It does feel like you guys have to confront one another and be real with one another. They may not like it. You may not like it. The 7 of Wands. Sometimes we don't want to hear what somebody else has to say, but there's a block for a reason. And sometimes we're called to really look at what that block is and why it's there. All right. You guys are still with me? Hello, Olga. All right. All right. I see you guys all here. Queen Tiki, Sonia. All right. Let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, Scorpio. Scorpio. What's the energy coming towards Scorpio this week? Who's coming towards you, the energy? Whatever spirit really wants to come through right now, guys, that's just how I feel like rolling today. Whatever wants to come through. Make a choice. Don't back down. Look at that friggin' ice queen. You know, make a choice. There's your Scorpio. Make a choice. Are you in or you're out? Are you in or you're out? You know, 1 minute you're like, you know, this person's pissing you off. Somebody really is, you're holding on to some sort of resentment towards somebody or a situation, or, you know, maybe logically, you know, you need to do something, but this person tempts you constantly. You just can't get this person off your mind, right? Well, you know, it's like, do you want what's healthy for you or what tastes good in the moment? Because this Queen of Swords showing her face a lot today, telling us all that, you know, come on, come on. Enough with the BS, right? It's either a yes or a no. There's no gray areas anymore at this point. You know what I mean? Especially if it's leaving you very unhappy and drained. So let's see. Expect changes. All right, expect some changes. Let's see what's going on. And I'm seeing feminine energy. You know something, like it just feels like right now, Scorpio, is not much more you can really do right now, except, you know, if you're feeling like you still got to take action or try to convince somebody or change something or do something, I don't think you're supposed to be working very hard right now. And this to me is, I'm a Scorpio, and it's a collective, like it's even in, like right now, like it just really does feel like our energy is just meant to kind of, you know, we get a lot of Aquarian energy going on right now too. And it's, you know, so many things going on with the fixed energies that you just be, you know, so trying to take action towards your relationship this week, or trying to get answers, or trying to get somebody to change or somebody to do something. Spirit is really asking you to expect that things will change, but that you don't really have to do much right now. You got to retain your energy. This is more like a recouping type of energy for you. You might be feeling like you need to move forward. You're feeling like you want to take action, but it may work against you. So you're making a choices, whether it feels like whether you want to deal with something or not. I see the 5 of Wands. You have a lot of conflict with somebody. Feels like you're constantly trying to make something work with somebody, or, you know, you seem to be fixing shit all the time with the situation, or, you know, you're conversating with somebody, but then next thing you know, it feels like, you know, you're having conflict again, and you don't even know why the conflict is there. So there's just a lot of challenges. And I see a Knight of Swords. So you're seeing an Aquarius, Libra, Gemini for you. But what this energy tells me is you may be dealing with somebody who's always up for a battle. This person is not maybe going to admit they're wrong, or they're going to constantly leave you question or guessing. Right? A lot of assumptions going on here, and there could be a lot of triggering here that happens between you and another person. You know, maybe somebody here, you know, there's a lot of conversation or communication. You're struggling with getting them to open up and communicate with you. Seems like a battle just to get this person to have a conversation with you. Maybe about where things are going or what's really happening here. I see a King of Swords, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. So you're dealing with somebody here who is a little bit detached. I mean, it is what it is. It's, you know, there's the King of Swords straightforward. It's not hard to read your person. But as a Scorpio, you're going to want to read as deep as you can and try to figure out the depths and mysteries of every freaking person you meet. And some people are not that deep. Your person is logical. Your person's simple. Your person is like, none of this, I have to, you know, be able to make sense of this, right? So you may be overanalyzing somebody and maybe thinking that they think deeper than you really do, but that could be a problem. Maybe you're connecting with somebody and you want them to understand you on a deeper level, but they're not. So you have to make a choice about what it is who you're connecting with. If you're connecting with somebody who is detached, not, I mean, this person has emotions, but this person here can definitely be somebody that's like, I can shut that shit off. But if you're needing somebody to truly understand, you know, the depths that you're going in, but you're trying to connect with somebody who avoids or turns their back on you and won't see your side of things, you know, this is where it's going to be difficult for you. You may be physically attracted to somebody, you may be attracted to the challenge, but are you really, you know, getting what you truly desire or truly want with this connection? Their biggest challenge is the Hermit card. You got somebody here who's pretty much somebody who can go about life on their own. You know, this is somebody who wants things simple, prefers to be by themselves, prefers to do their own thing, go their own way. Very much a loner type of person. And this is somebody that can shut off easily. So, you know, this is where that could drive you mad. That could drive you absolutely mad. If you're not with somebody who's healthy enough to talk about their feelings or their situation, or there's somebody that closes off or shuts down anytime a problem comes up, you know, you can't change a person's process, right? And so you have to ask yourself, why is this for you? It doesn't mean your person's a bad person. What you're needing from each other is not in sync. How they view you, the Temperance card. What does Spirit want you to focus on too? The Nine of Wands. You're very stressed and maybe a little bit overwhelmed, and you know, you get impatient with this person. You struggle with this person, and this person wonders why you want to be with them. Why you want to be around them. Why you want this so bad if they stress you out. Ooh, this is hard, guys, you know? It is hard. Some of these truths. Like, what the fuck do you want with me? If you don't like me, you know? But we have a connection. And so, you know, it's a choice. It doesn't mean you have to choose leaving a person, but you have to choose and pick your battles. You know, it's like if we want somebody who's exactly like us, we just stay by ourselves and marry ourselves. But you're marrying somebody, or you're with somebody, or connecting to somebody, maybe you are married, right? That is somebody who's detached and just does not. So I don't know. You just have a choice. To me, it looks like you're losing patience with somebody, and it doesn't. Your person's showing up as a king, by the way. So a king is telling me somebody you know, this person is, you know, respectful. This person has their ways. The Hermit card, they may be set in their ways. They may be older, you know, they may take them a long time to see other people's point of view. But if you're okay with that, then whatever it is that's stressing them out about you, you got to let it go. You know, it's our expectations of other people that causes the problems. But your person here is just somebody that doesn't need a relationship. And that's what I'm picking up on. And you want it, or you need it, because you're Scorpio. We desire. We have, that's our thing. I want, I desire, I gotta have. I'm surprised we're not the Devil card, right? But you're dealing with somebody who likes having you in their life, maybe even loves having you in their life, but they're definitely okay with being by themselves. Right? So it's going to be hard, because no matter what, this is an ongoing battle for you. No matter what you say or do to get this person's attention, and we can be dramatic, we can find ways to get your attention. You know, you're going to wear yourself out. It's just going to make this person detach more. So if you're connecting, so you are being asked to kind of not whatever it is you're doing or trying to pursue or trying to push at, your person's just going to be colder or more distant. So let's see Aries through Pisces. I see Aries. I see the star card. All right, where there's a will, there's a way, basically, with the star card. But it does, it's healing. It says, we've got to be real with ourselves. And if we're meant to be together, we've got to trust the process. So we don't have to force something. If they really want to be with us, we don't have to force it. No, me, dramatic, nah. Taurus, Ten of Swords. Taurus is feeling heavy, a lot more pain than you realize. So if they're avoiding you or they're going their own way, either they're dealing with a divorce and they are like, I don't want any more drama in my life. I don't care how hot you are. But, if they're not showing you their feelings, they may be afraid to get hurt, right? But also the Ten of Swords is somebody that if they're walking away from you, holding back, maybe they feel like they just can't make you happy, right? The Ten of Swords there, it's like it hurts them more than you realize. All right, so there's a lot going on here. There's a possibility too that we could end things and not really want to with that one. Gemini, Knight of Wands. So Gemini is still pursuing you. You guys have a strong magnetic pull towards one another. There's still something there. Maybe lightening up a little bit, trying to have fun with one another, depending on the kind of relationship you're in, please. This is like, I really want this. I really want you. But we need to lighten things back up and start fresh. Cancer, King of Wands. So Cancer on a mission. Looks like Cancer may open up conversation here with you this week. Leo, I have the Justice card. So there seems to be some karma consequences or justice being served here with the Leo. Maybe finally feeling the consequences. Maybe some truth coming out. You can't run away from your truth. You can't hide from your truth. It'll catch up with you. So we are seeing, though, maybe somebody being real this week, being honest with you. Virgo, I see the Emperor card. So Virgo here, looks like they're stepping up, making plans with you, being responsible, right? Taking action towards you. Libra, Judgment. You got Libra on the fence here. Libra doesn't know which way to go. Libra's like, do we have a lot of past? Will you forgive me? Can I forgive you? There's a lot going on between you and a Libra. But it's definitely weighing on their conscience, and you can't run away from the truth either. So they could be awakening to what part they played, but you may be making a huge decision this week that could affect the relationship moving forward long term. Scorpio, you have the Four of Cups, all right? So you're very unhappy in a situation, and you need to be real with yourself. You're not feeling expansion. If a relationship is you're not feeling like you're growing. Look, relationships can suck at times and we have a lot of challenges, but every time you go through something, you should feel like you're getting somewhere with somebody. That's how you know you're growing and it's worth the investment. But if every time there's an encounter and your light is being dimmed or you're more depressed after a situation, something has to change because something is not right. You shouldn't feel more depressed every single time something happens. And it's looking like you're feeling this Four of Cups energy. You're feeling stuck. You don't know what to do. Well, it looks like this week you're being asked to make a decision about the connection. Sagittarius, I see the Death card. So you may make a choice or maybe something's ended between you and a Sagittarius. Capricorn is still invested in this connection. They may step up and be more consistent with you. Same thing with an Aquarius. I see the Three of Pentacles. All right, they may be seeing where they need to put more work in. Pisces, I see the Eight of Wands. So Pisces could change their direction too. It looks like an honest communication coming in. We really need to talk about things and be able to work through our, differences. But you know, with a Pisces though too, the Eight of Wands, it can demonstrate short term. So maybe things seem like they're going good for a minute, but then they just keep going back to the same way. So you may want to watch out for that pattern as well. All right, Sagittarius. Oh yeah, and you know, look, even when I was Scorpio, you know, when I'm growing up, you know, and we all tend to have some, you know, we grow, we evolve, right? So even the negative aspects of me as a Scorpio when I was younger, you know, can be upsetting to others, but it also truly doesn't matter whether you're a Phoenix, Eagle, Scorpio, Snake. It also depends on your core values. You know, some people, we don't know when we're doing something wrong, but if you definitely show us or tell us that we are, most people, regardless of their sign, will evolve. I like it. All right, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, Sagittarius. All right, Sag. Who's coming towards you, or what kind of energy is coming towards you? Whatever wants to come up. All right. So you got a double whammy here. You have things feel like they're falling apart. You may be going through a tower moment, or you feel like, you know, things have been kind of displaced, or you're just not sure. You don't feel very grounded in a situation. Maybe you're going through some change. And it can be internal, external, whatever. But it definitely can be uncomfortable. It can feel like sometimes we're losing control, things are falling apart, but when in actuality, things are actually getting better for us or more simple. And what's underneath that is luck is on your side. There's good news. So whatever it is that you're going through that may seem like it's never going to end, or you're uncertain about a situation, there's so much uncertainty right now that it is very uncomfortable. But the test is to remain calm and certain, that temperance energy, amidst the chaos. Things are going to start to clear up, is what I'm getting. So you may be still kind of feeling this uncertainty this week when it comes to a situation. Some things take time. All right. So let's just see what to maybe expect then. It looks like there's still, you got the snail showing up. It feels like things are moving at snail's pace. And it feels like, maybe you just never see something finally happening. All right. And it looks like that's not really changing. And I see the problem is you want somebody to make that gesture. You're wanting somebody to express their love to you. You're wanting to reconcile. So here's my messages that are coming through. For those of you going through a current tower moment and you don't know what's happening between you and a relationship, all right, it may be too soon right now to expect to reconcile just yet. I do see a reconciliation coming in, but it shows that some things take time. So it feels like whatever's happening for you right now is there's something more for you during this period that's supposed to be happening, as opposed to worrying about mending a situation so quickly, because it will happen in time, because we're knocking down the bullshit and we're seeing the truths. But you may be wanting to reconcile with somebody so soon because it's hard to deal with the loneliness, the feelings, the loss. And that's what Spirit wants you to know. Some things take time. It's on the radar. It seems like you're calling in a soulmate. It seems like you have love around you. Maybe there's a miscommunication. Seems like you can't get on the same page with somebody. You're just not getting the love that you're given, you know? And that can be hard. Hanged Man. You know, ultimately you're going, it feels like you just feel like stuck. You feel maybe like, nothing's going to be the same. Things are changing. At one point you knew something had to change, and you're having to let go of everything. You're having to let go of expectations, labels, titles, control, where things are going. There's no way to define what's happening right now when you're going through a Tower card. There's too much change happening at once. It doesn't feel like it because the Hanged Man, you feel like, I've got to be able to do something. It's uncomfortable. This is, I'm used to doing stuff. I'm used to, taking action, and you're being asked not to. Scorpio was too. To me, something's changing in your relationship and you have no control over it. And sometimes we just have to accept that we have no control over things. And that doesn't mean that it's not going to turn out in our favor. That's why Spirit wanted you to see that, luck is on your side. There is, there's healing. There's treasure at the other side of the rainbow. But we don't see it when the Tower's happening. Yet before the Tower happened, we weren't okay with what was happening, but yet we were more comfortable with that than losing what we had. But then God comes in and says, that's not enough. You can't hide your feelings forever. You can't, contain chaos forever. Eventually, it's gonna wear itself down, wear you down. And when that happens, your truth comes out. If you've been hanging there with somebody and not sure where something's going, the Tower card with the Hanged Man too tells me there's just something is ending. I see the King of Cups. I'm seeing a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. How they view you, the Ace of Pentacles, and what does Spirit want you to focus on? Seven of Cups. All right. So it looks like you're dealing with maybe a Scorpio energy. So maybe something that was said in Scorpio's reading is for you as well. And, Scorpio is about death, but the challenge is letting go. King of Cups has a hard time. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, find your placements, right? But they just seem to have, because feelings, when you are so in depth with them, or you just let your feelings rule everything, we get so lost and we don't see our truth. So we just let feelings run everything. And it's hard for us to let go of something. But you really are being asked. It's like your person here may be going through something, and it's nothing you can do to make it happen. But you're seeing they view you as the Ace of Pentacles. So there's still another opportunity. It just feels like maybe it's the wrong time right now. And you're being asked to focus on what you really want. Because the Seven of Cups, I wrote down recently, I had kept pulling that for myself too. And I remember I wrote down something that really landed with me, and I wanted to keep it. So let me see if I can find it. All right. So too many options, stories, fantasies, and promises. You've gone through every single one of them. You've thought about every story that could be happening with you and this person, what it's meant, why you guys met each other, right? You also may be feeling like there's just so many, there's been too many options, too many what ifs, and it's hope dressed up as possibility. It's confusion because you don't want something to be true. So that hit me hard. That hit me hard. It's not confusion because you're clueless. It's confusion because you want something to be true. And you can see that with your person right now. With the major arcana and Scorpio energy here, there's an inevitable ending that's happening, and one that we have to let go and let God. And there is a possibility here, even with the Ace of Pentacles showing up for you, you're seeing that is the card of luck. That is manifesting in reality, an opportunity. Somebody may need to see. You don't know what their process is. They may need to go through this ending with a situation, or maybe they're going through something big in their life, or you guys just had a major blowout. Who knows what it is? But for some reason, you guys weren't getting the love that you wanted from this person to begin with. So something had to happen. And in order for you to get what you desire, and so we are seeing here, it's hard though, because you're having to deal with a death in order to reach that point of, this new start coming in. But your biggest challenge is dealing with this uncertainty. And that's difficult. So I just pull one more card for you. All right. I know how difficult this uncertainty feels. I know, I really do. That's a Scorpio energy too. That's my birth card. And the Chariot here is here to tell you just to stay focused and have the power, the willpower, and the self-control to stay focused and do what's right. You know what you've got to do. And so this card here tells me too, that when you're following your own spirit and you're moving forward and you're driving the car, you're letting God drive the car, but you are there with them or her or whoever you connect with, right? The momentum is going to pick up. You're letting your life move forward and the change is happening. And it gives the situation in your life a chance to finally complete itself and transform. And this card says, this too shall pass. This obstacle, you have a very big obstacle that you're up against right now with all this major arcana, but you are headed towards one of the biggest victories, the biggest return. This is the card of, look at me now, I'm better than ever. I always think of when Christ returns. All right, so a lot of major arcana coming through for you. So let's look at Aries through Pisces for you and see if there's any other messages that I can get for each zodiac sign that you may be connecting to. Aries, you have the Star card. So with an Aries, you may be going through a tower, but there's still a glimmer of hope there. All right, but this card still says you have to surrender to the process. Right? There's nothing more you can do to control or make it happen. In the meantime, we've got the hardest part is to focus on what's coming up for us in our own lives. Taurus, I see the Strength card. Right, so this is also about self-control. You guys may be going through something right now, but it's building a stronger bond between you and a Taurus. All right, that connection is unbreakable, at least at this point right now. But it does feel like it's hard for both of you to kind of keep away from each other, or, you know, something's got to give, but you guys will make it through. Gemini, I'm seeing Six of Pentacles. So Gemini may be realizing that they need to put more effort in, and you could be reconciling with a Gemini this week, or at least feeling like they're being more consistent with you. Cancer, Five of Pentacles. I'm still seeing you struggle with the Cancer. You know, they may be keeping you at a distance. They may be feeling like it's best right now that we're separated, or best right now that things are the way they are, because, you know, I'm not ready to deal with these problems or this challenge. Leo, Queen of Cups. So Leo definitely has deep feelings for you, processing their feelings. If they're hiding back a little bit, you got this water sign. It doesn't feel like they're letting go of you, but right now they may have a lot going on, and they're just trying to figure out and process what to do with what's going on. Virgo, I see Eight of Cups. Virgo could be going their own way. I think Virgo got that in their reading too. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure though. Virgo might need to, you got the Seven of Cups. Maybe you guys have to go your own ways. You guys both know it's time, even if it's temporary. Libra, I see Death card. So there could be an ending happening with the Libra as well. But it's inevitable. You know, it's like something has to finish its course. Scorpio, Three of Cups, right? You and Scorpio finding a way to reconcile. You guys are good pals, right? But you also built a friendship, and, you know, it's not easy to not be around you. So you and Scorpio could find yourself getting together, reconciling, conversating this week. Sagittarius, Queen of Swords. So, you know, you've got the Queen of Swords. That woman is coming out that all day, and it's really hard to do what's right when your emotions are so invested in somebody, and everybody here gets it. You know, it's not easy. I have to be a reader that looks at the highest, most ideal solution, and, you know, what we need to do to, you know, to get to where we want, or see movement. So I'm always looking at the highest, you know, the highest messages. And the Queen of Swords tells us that it may hurt to do what's right, but you got to do what's right. You know, this is a moment where logic has to play, not our hearts. Because sometimes the logic actually is more potent. Our hearts are enabling a situation, and it actually hurts a situation more than it helps a situation. Conversation could be coming in with you and another Sag with the Queen of Swords. Capricorn, I have the Sun card. So you and Capricorn, a renewal, reconciliation, or even, you know, just falling in love with each other again. You know, when things clear up, or if something else is, obviously, Sag, you might be going through something with somebody that's a little bit heavier. But I am seeing you've got a lot of luck around you throughout this process. So it may seem pretty scary, but it's a big lesson, a big test. It seemed like a big test for your character. Aquarius, Nine of Pentacles. Aquarius trying to work on themselves, work on getting themselves together. I do see they're invested in this connection, and you may see more consistency with them moving forward. Pisces, I see Four Cups. So Pisces is not interested, not showing any signs, maybe dealing with depression, or feeling stuck in a situation, but they're definitely not in a place to give you what you need or want right now. So it may come across to you like they're not interested. Thank you, Richard. I don't feel so pretty lately, but thank you. All right, Capricorn. All right, let's see my Capricorns. Ooh, what's coming towards you? What's the energy coming towards you this week? Whatever comes through. I don't know. What is Spirit letting me know? Capricorn. So many questions. You know, you got too many questions, not enough answers. Where do I stand? Fake illusions. You can't tell if something's real or not. It's consistent all today. You know, what do you do? Where do I stand? Why do I keep holding on to this? Why do I keep trying? Am I lying to myself? Is this person really who they say they are? You know, it just feels like a headache. And it feels like you're second guessing yourself. Let's see. You may be acting like nothing's bothering you. Your person may be acting like nothing's bothering them. You're putting up a good facade, but it feels like there's something off with both of you. So let's see if I can get anything with that. Maybe this week you're starting to see the truth about things, and that could be good, right? That can be, yeah. I don't think the collective's confused. I think the collective, like that Seven of Cups I was just saying, that Seven of Cups, wanting something to be true or be real. But we're all as a collective having to face the shit show that we thought was real. I have an Emperor showing up though. So I did want to, and I felt this intuitively, was that it's going to turn, it seems like it's not as bad as you think. All right. I have the Emperor and I have the Two of Pentacles. So you have somebody here, Aries energy. So maybe Aries reading has something for you guys. Somebody here that just doesn't know what they want, and that's hard. When you're wondering where you stand with somebody, you want somebody to be there because you're ready, and you're dealing with somebody who, is kind of weighing out the pros and cons of the situation, trying to figure out if this could work, trying to figure out if this is what they really want, trying to figure out if they're, if they can be themselves around you. It could be something as that. But the good news is it's the Two of Pentacles. It's like, yeah, it's a little up in the air right now. We're trying to figure each other out. We're trying to learn one another, So it really comes down to how you react or handle a situation and how much energy you put into a situation until somebody knows what they want. You don't want to be the one to overinvest in somebody if they're still kind of pondering if they even want to get to the second date or if they want to do this again. You've got to let somebody show up for you and put the work in. And your job, in my opinion, is to not give them your heart until they've earned it. Once we have crossed that threshold of wanting somebody so badly or wanting a situation to happen so badly, if another person knows that subconsciously, they have the power. They can do whatever they want and take as long as they want to decide. They already know that they have you, you know? So that's going to be the hardest thing right now, is just being able to sit back and not overthink this person. Don't give so much of your energy until this person takes that next step. I do see an Emperor, so that does give me an energy of you're dealing with somebody who doesn't really want to hurt you, all right? This is somebody here that wants to be responsible, which also means that that responsibility might look harsh to you. Because if somebody feels like they have to pull their energy away so they don't hurt you or say anything or don't want to be with you or be, they're going to pull away so that they don't hurt you. They're going to be responsible. They're not, so, but that's hard for you because that's going to leave you feeling confused. Now I have the Lovers card. So there's no doubt here that this person isn't feeling some sort of connection with you, but your person is up to an ultimate choice. And they may be contemplating whether they're ready to let love back into their life. I don't know what happened in the past. This person may feel like they were deceived. They may have been deceived in the past. They may have thought it was going to be a certain way. Maybe they thought you were a certain way. Maybe they thought, that starting a relationship is what they want. But now they're being triggered. There could be, their past haunting them again. Do I really want to move this fast? Is this what I want? So it really feels like you're dealing with somebody who's questioning what they want next in a relationship. Is this more than just love? Is this a bond that we can grow from? Are we both mutually attracted to one another? Sometimes that is it too. Somebody might feel like you're pretty, but are you really what I want? We're in Scorpio moon right now, guys. So don't get triggered by me being so blunt and being like that. I tend to do this with Scorpio moon. The hard truths. And, your person could be just trying to see what they really want. I have Gemini energy. And this can be somebody that really just questions everything before they get into the relationship. What's their biggest challenge with you? They know they're hurting you. They know how this makes you feel. They must know already that you are so invested. And it just feels like this person doesn't want you to feel abandoned. And they may even try to hide maybe you're confused by them because maybe they show up a certain way. And it's because they don't want to hurt you, even though they don't know exactly what they want. And so that's hard. How do they view you? The 6 of Wands. Like there's no, all right, you got 6s showing up for you, 5s and 6. What does Spirit want you to focus on? This is really big. Knight of Swords. So Capricorn, your reading is don't jump the gun just yet. Who cares what the reality looks like? Your person is in a place of maybe they are dealing with issues from a past relationship. Maybe they still blame relationships on their happiness, right? Maybe they're having a hard time letting love in. They're not sure if they want a relationship, right? It is what it is. Don't invest any more of your time, energy until somebody shows up for you. What I do see is that somebody here is very attracted to you, very admires you. So it has nothing to do with the fact that you don't stand out in a crowd, that you're not somebody that's desirable, you're not somebody that's worth it, but you're dealing with somebody who honestly needs to make a choice whether or not they really want a relationship or let somebody in. Now that can create a lot of defensive energy with you. You may assume the worst and it may take you out. And that's where, you may be like all over the place questioning things. You're wanting to know where you stand. You want to know what the purpose is. You don't want to waste your time. And that's just it. You don't want to waste your time. So we can have all kinds of good, creative, fun bonds, but if somebody is not going to step up to the plate, and if you're still questioning everything, this is where you've got to make an important decision not to invest any more emotionally. It doesn't mean you can't invest in the connection, but let this person show up for you, right? They need to make a decision. Your assumptions that you've done something wrong is where I feel like spirit wants you to know, like, you haven't done anything wrong. You're dealing with a challenging situation, and one that may make you feel like you're being abandoned or you're being not chosen. And somebody else, I don't know, the Lover's card can represent too fresh out of a relationship, or they are still in love with their ex, you know, or they just don't want to get hurt again. Every time they get in a relationship, they get burned. You might not be that person that would do that to this person, but that doesn't mean anything. This person might need more time to figure it out. What this does show me is that love will find a way. Love is going to lead the two of you together if you're meant to be together. The Lover's card to me represents that. So Aries through Pisces, what to expect? Aries is in their head. You have 8 of Swords. Aries thinking about every way love goes wrong, every way this can go wrong. They're very doubtful of, you know, this connection working at the moment for some reason. But you also may be dealing with an Aries that has a hard time, you know, getting out of their head. We have Taurus, the Empress card. So let things grow naturally and organically with a Taurus. This could turn into a really beautiful relationship long term. The Empress card is the seeds have already been planted, and we're seeing that you guys might be dealing with some fumbling, you know, right now. Maybe you guys are creating a lot of illusions that are not there. Maybe your person's just facing some of their triggers, or you are. With a Taurus, it looks like there's potential for growth. We have Gemini, Page of Cups. So Gemini's got love for you, you know. It's like your message today, Capricorn, is just to back up your emotions a little bit. You know, maybe you fall in love too quickly. There's nothing wrong with them and water, but you're just being asked to back up a little bit emotionally. Let somebody show up for you, right? I have a Gemini here, you know, maybe opening up conversation, maybe talking about feelings, getting ready to open up about their feelings. Now, Cancer, another story. Cancer is 9 of Swords. So maybe they feel bad, they're upset, they feel regretful for leading you on, or something that's happened. Maybe they lied to you, maybe they've deceived you in the past. You know, a part of them hopes that you can forgive them, but it almost feels like they're dealing with a lot of shame for not being honest with you from the beginning. I have Leo, 4 of Swords. Leo gets overwhelmed with too much conversation. So if we're always having to talk about the same thing or keep bringing up something and they shut down on you, that's why. It feels like, you know, they just don't know. They don't know what they want, or they don't always have the answers that make you happy. So they shut down when they don't have them for you. Now, I can hear so many comments when I'm doing readings. Ultimately, no, I would not deal with half the stuff that I read about, guys. I wouldn't. Maybe in my younger years. That's why I know. That's why I can understand the dynamics that I'm seeing on a table. That doesn't mean that I would deal with it now. But I know people are in different stages, and some people, you know, go through certain things. We all have to learn through our own experiences. So nowadays, the way I am now, I'm a cold-hearted bitch. I wouldn't deal with shit, right? But that's not going to help any of you guys. You won't come back to my channel if I'm just a cold-hearted bitch. So I can hear a lot of you guys, you know, but it's about a decision this week. You know, if you are connected to a Leo who shuts down whenever you try to have a conversation with them, you know, you got to ask yourself if you're wanting to deal with somebody who won't have a conversation with you. I had to bring a little humor into that. Thank you. Virgo, 3 of Swords. So maybe you and Virgo are dealing with a separation right now. It's maybe too soon to make it work just yet. It's about processing your feelings right now with you and a Virgo. Maybe too soon to reconcile. Libra, 5 of Pentacles. All right, they're not happy without you, but they struggle with the relationship as well. It seems like you guys have something that you keep focusing on, and it's just not working. So something has to change. You came in at the perfect time. All right. So that's what I'm getting for your Libra. You know, it's like we have conflict. Fives tell me you have conflict, and you have to look at you know the situation and ask yourself, can we figure this out? Can we do this, right? But obviously something has to change in order for you guys to figure this out. Scorpio, Knight of Cups. Scorpio is going to be real with you, especially today, Scorpio moon. So if you're dealing with a Scorpio Capricorn and they're coming towards you and they're telling you that they're in love, or their actions will speak louder than their words. I will be, I do, that is true. All right. So you have a Scorpio seems to be in their feelings. You may be approached by a Scorpio. They may open up and tell you how they feel. But they're pretty direct. Sagittarius, Four of Wands. You and Sag may be finally making it home together. Maybe you guys are deciding that, you know what, the timing's here. The time is right. We got to make a decision to make this stable. And we have Capricorn, 10 of Wands. Look at that. Yesterday would have been worse. All my placements were being hit with the moon. Today, it's just my sun, moon, and Venus. 10 of Wands, Capricorn. Something is way too difficult for you. Something is way too difficult for you. You've been through too much in your life to be dealing with this much heaviness. All right. You know, the hardest part's over. That's the good part. So let's start there. You know, but we got to start fresh, but we got to let go of trying to, it's too much. If you're putting too much work, you're feeling worn out from a situation, Spirit's asking you to take a step back. All right, reanalyze the situation. Is it worth it? Now, I'm not going to say it's not worth it. I've been in, you know, marriages take a lot of strength, right? So it doesn't mean we give up every time things get rough. But we definitely have to take a step back if we're seeing the 10 of Wands. And we have to ask if we're going to get a return of investment for all this effort we're putting in. Aquarius, the Star card. Looks like you and Aquarius could pull through, right? You both want the same outcome. And Pisces, 10 of Cups. You guys could find yourself deepening your connection, a relationship with the Pisces. You know, but it's funny for you guys when you come in and hear me. But when new people come to my channel and they come in at the wrong time, they're like, what the hell? And then they don't hear the whole message. They only hear parts of the message. That stresses me out. You know, when I get comments from people and I can tell that they just didn't listen to the whole message, you know, I'm like, what the, you know, I don't know what to say. I get frustrated. All right. It is still, right? It's still, I can't, Aquarius season. Aquarius, you've been doing a number on me. A number. Let's see. 237. We are all going to love Aquariuses at the end of 20 years. You know, Aquarians, if you've ever felt, I'm sure you have, like you're just from another planet and all of us are just confused, or you just feel so different from the rest of us. Well, we feel the same way about you, but we're really getting to know you now. We are getting to know all about your energy, and it's something else. I have so many Aquarians popping up in my life all around, in my real life, in my physical life. And I'm like, you know, it's wild. Oh, you got awesome placements. Get out of here. Oh, you got badass placements. Aqua Moon. Yeah. you know, Vulcan moon. Yeah. Yeah, but Aquarians are squirming right now because you got to deal and face some shit that you would rather not think about. I got other important things to think about. I don't need to deal with that shit. But you guys are going through some major transformation. So this is going to be really a big time for you guys. Big, huge transformation. Anger, conflicts, and arguments. Get out of your way. Right? Get out of your way. So you are dealing with some conflict. You know, you could be getting some letter this week or finally realizing or hearing some sort of secret or truth, you know, that brings you some sense of peace. Okay. It may be stressing you out. It feels like you are really, really angry about something, really frustrated about something. But it's going to figure itself out. You're going to get the answers, and I'm getting to take time to rest and relax. All right. It may be the time is just not, if you're trying to force something right now, it's going to cause more conflict. Right. And I'm getting let it go, release, don't look back. Can you let something go? Are you able to release control of a situation that you're dealing with? Because it may add more fuel to the fire right now. You may find out some truth that pisses you off. But what I'm getting is, it may piss you off, but is it worth, you're going to have to ask yourself this. Is it worth the fight? I mean, do you bring it up? Do you talk? Do you fight it out? Is it going to break you guys up? Or is it going to make the situation better? Or is it going to make it worse? I mean, so it does feel like, you know, the challenge is going to be letting something go that pissed you off. Are you holding on to a grudge? Because this could be what's affecting the relationship between you and your person right now. It's hard for you to, it's a very challenging energy. You're challenging somebody. Maybe you keep replaying something over and over and over in your head, and it's just not getting you, you can't get any sleep. You know, Spirit might be asking you this week to release that as well. Is it worth your health? So you may have an argument coming through, some secret being revealed, or discussion this week. And Mojo, I didn't say hi. I meant to say hi. 3 of Swords. You know, your person here may be disappointing you. There may be a separation going on. You're currently, it looks like you might be or up against some sort of battle. You're trying to mend something or trying to get your point across. Maybe you feel right about something, but you just can't let it go. It's causing more separation between you and your person. You know, but the hard part is, if you can't let it go, do you move on? You know, your person's not taking it lightly. Whatever's happening here, they're pretty sad about it. Disappointed maybe even in themselves. But it looks like there's a power struggle happening between you and another person. You just can't seem to agree. You trigger each other. I have the Devil card. I don't know if your person deceived you. I don't know if there was. You know, you may find out that there was some sort of deception. you know, and it's hard for you to recover from it. But it keeps coming up, and it's not getting you guys anywhere. And it does look like your person triggers you. It looks like your person could be angry. It looks like your person could be jealous. It looks like your person, you know, may have caused the separation, caused the grief between the two of you. Maybe they were dishonest. You know, maybe you felt like they didn't choose you. They chose somebody else. Whatever it is, you're carrying it still, and you're angry about it. And it's hard for you to let go of this. And this person, no matter what, every time you're confronted, you may be confronted by them this week. And it's looking like very triggering energy between the two of you. How do they view you? The Queen of Wands. And what does Spirit want you to focus on? The Five of Pentacles. This person may have created some insecurities that you were unaware of, that you didn't even have before. Sometimes people come into our lives and they hurt us. I mean, you're a Queen of Wands, Aquarius, right? But the Devil card can say the challenge is this person really got you intense. You got heated. You may have said some things that, you know, out of anger. So if for some of you, if this hasn't happened yet, you may be confronted this week with somebody that be careful of saying something out of anger, because it could lead to a separation. And then it may be hard for you to deal with it. It'll be hard for you to let go of something, or some of you already are struggling with letting go of a situation that somebody has really hurt you. But you also, you're controlling the situation, the dynamic, and you want them in your life. So you have a challenge this week ahead of you. Your biggest challenge is either you let somebody go, release it, and don't look back, or you let something go that somebody did that you feel like they really deceived you or really hurt you. But in order to move forward and be with this connection, or for you to move forward and be healthy, you gotta decide. Because this person's still coming around. You want them in your energy, but it doesn't mean that anything's going to change. Especially if the challenge is they're constantly being reminded of all their faults or whatever they did wrong. So your thing is Spirit's looking at you like Five of Pentacles. It's really hard for you to let go of, you know, your viewpoint. You feel like you were done wrong. You feel like the victim here. You feel like somebody may have deceived you. And it's hard for you to get over that. You're a fixed energy. I'm noticing too that Aquarians have a really hard time of letting go of grudges or letting go of things when you feel like you've been done wrong. It is really hard for you to open back up. You know, you can detach so quickly, but that's not helping you. It may have helped you in the past, but it's not helping you. And I feel like, you know, that's going to be one of the things that you're up against, is being able to process some of the things people do that don't make sense to you. You know, and not everything is going to be logical. Not everything is going to make sense. And it feels like maybe some of you have a hard time dealing with people that can't see the logic behind things, can't see what the hell, or can't figure out their shit, or can't figure out what they're doing to you. But you're struggling with it. And that focus on the victimhood, which we all can find ourselves in. Believe me, I'm a recovering victim of my life. But when we get stuck in this, it stops us from growing forward. And it also you may want a relationship because it seems like you're attached to somebody, but it's not going to grow. It's going to end in separation if we can't figure out how to get over something, how to work through something. I don't always know. I'm not a counselor, guys, so I don't always know how to say the nicest things the correct way. I'm doing the best I can, but I do realize that we've got to do our own work in order to get over something if we want to be with somebody. because otherwise they're just going to feel punished the rest of their life. And obviously this person here, it looks as though there could be a separation, or a separation has happened. Aries. Oh, let me see. Aries, if you're connected to an Aries, I see justice. All right, so it looks like Aries here coming in, wanting to make it right with you. You may get an apology from an Aries, or at least feeling like maybe things are starting to feel, you know, like karma's being served. You feel better about a situation. Taurus, I see the 9 of Wands. So they're not giving up on this, but they're definitely feeling tired and stressed about the battle that you guys have been going through. All right, something has to give. Because your Taurus can't handle the stress. Gemini, Page of Swords. Gemini wanting to talk things out. I feel like you and Gemini will make it work. You guys can. You guys understand each other. They may have some questions to ask, or, you know, but it looks like conversation coming in with you and a Gemini. I see Cancer here trying to maintain coolness and make it work. So you could be making peace or talking to a Cancer. Leo, it's about a judgment. It looks like, you know, we got to figure out if we're going to keep blaming each other, or we're going to find forgiveness, you know, if we want a second chance there. Virgo, 7 of Wands, looks like very defensive energy. Virgo may feel like they're constantly needing to defend themselves. So if a Virgo has done you wrong, they are feeling constantly under the pressure, like, you know, no matter what they do, they feel like they can't make something, they can't fix the problem. Libra, Wheel of Fortune. So you have another come around of a Libra wanting to turn things around. So it's up to you how you deal with it. We got to get off the hamster wheel, right? So you and a Libra, you met for a reason. You're getting another opportunity to deal with a situation and turn it around. Scorpio, 7 of Cups. All right. You know, so it's still uncertain between you and a Scorpio. And you just maybe have to ask yourself, how long you're going to wait for them to make a decision. Sagittarius, falling in love. You know, so it looks like they want to give you an offer, or give this a go. Capricorn, the Chariot card, on their way to return. It looks like wanting to reconcile, you know, or figure something out here. But I see movement. You guys will pull through this. Aquarius, you have the Fool card. That's your energy, and, you know, it's trying something new, doing something different, going against the grain, giving yourself a fresh start, and not necessarily needing to know how it's all going to happen. All right. So trusting, you know, taking that next step and taking a leap of faith when it comes to a connection. You know, you and another Aquarius, you know, you may need to have everything figured out before you move forward, but maybe your lesson is not to have everything figured out, and to just let things unfold and see what happens, and be surprised with not knowing everything, right? Pisces, I see 2 of Cups. I see a conversation coming in with you and Pisces, a relationship, maybe reconciliation, or a relationship forming between you and a Pisces. Happy birthday, Aquarius. Hello, Christina. We made it to Pisces. I will be live at 4:30 with questions for Super Chats. If you guys want to jump on over there and sign up. I only can be on as long as my eyes will let me be right now. So 2:52. Pisces. Mercury's in Pisces right now. So we have that energy working. All right. Woo. Pisces. Some of you dealing with some shocking news, feeling a little heartbroken. All right. Maybe you weren't expecting something to pan out the way it did. All right. And I've got this look closely though. Look around you. It might not be as bad as you think. All right. So Pisces is going to go out with a bang, right? Moving on, relocation, closure, goodbye. You know, maybe you thought it would be easy and you're still processing. It's not easy for you to really let go. It's not going to be easy right now for you. It looks like you're in a moment of processing something that has closed. Somebody's moving, right? Or somebody moved on. Maybe you have to, it could even be just the, you know, life in general. It just feels like, you know, you thought it was going to look different, but it just didn't show up the way you thought it was. But a lot of what you're feeling is, I'm feeling called to say unprocessed emotions that are coming up right now because of a situation that's happening around you, but it really has something to do, it goes deeper. And I'm seeing spiritual awakening. You know, maybe somebody moved on from you. Maybe you're still trying to process it. You feel like you can't get over it. You know, part of that 5 of Cups is making your, you know, maybe you're not supposed to, but you're just supposed to let the new in. What did I hear recently? Oh my God, it was amazing. Maybe we're not supposed to let go of the past, but we're just supposed to let more of the present in. You know, I've heard that before, but it just yesterday, and so it landed and it's still here. So we're always saying, let go of the past, let go of the past. I do say that because I talk in terms of manifesting and stories and narratives, and I want to shut that shit off and I want to move forward. So I am a little hardcore when it comes to letting go of the past, right? I realize that. But still, the past is the past. It's our history. It's our story. It's our, you know, it's what makes us who we are today. So then when I heard that, you know, you don't need to let go of the past, but you do. But see, it seems to me like you're having a hard time letting in the present moment and you're still living in the past, maybe. So this could be what's coming up for you right now. I like that. You can hold space. You can hold space for past, but don't snuggle it. Unfortunately, like I said, I can be cold. It's because I wanted to just erase my mind, right? I was totally in, you know, that place where I don't, which isn't, you know, always the best way to be. All right, we have the Devil card. So I do see a lot coming up for you right now. And I am seeing Capricorn. And I do feel like maybe some of you were dealing with somebody you feel played by, or it was a sexual connection and you tried to make more of it than it was. All right. Maybe you've lost your passion. You don't even, to me, it feels like, you know, you just are, you feel defeated around a situation. There's a strong chemistry, a strong pull between you, or you're attracted to the bad boys or bad girls, whatever you want to call it. You're attracted to it and they keep letting you down. But what's this pattern that you're getting into? What is this pattern? Because it feels to me like Spirit's saying it's your thing. You're the one that's doing it. And that might seem, again, I'm not a counselor. I'm not trying to point, you know what I mean? You know, take things with a grain of salt. But it does feel like you know you have a pattern. But you want to defeat it. You want to prove it wrong. And so maybe you are attached to somebody, or you have to move on from a situation that, somebody just keeps draining you. It's very intense, it's very sexual, but it doesn't ever land. It doesn't ever grow. And I'm getting the World card too as well. So this week, let's see, we have finding some sort of closure with the situation. And I see the 9 of Swords, like I can't escape it. You have somebody around you that feels very bad for the way that things have gone down between the two of you. There is grief here. Your person's feeling some pain too. But it looks like you have, given this situation the benefit of the doubt over and over and over and over again. Like you just kept this. It's so easy to get distracted by somebody who's hot, right? Somebody that, it's fun, it's intense, and then it never goes anywhere. And it's an addiction, guys. This person views you, the Wheel of Fortune. You can see very karmic-y situation. Like you guys just keep going around in circles. It's risky. It's almost like I wish I could take things back. I wish I could turn things around. But did this person hurt you so much that there's just, it's almost impossible? What does Spirit think you should do? I see the Knight of Cups. Open up to love. It's more passion and chemistry is not love. It doesn't mean passion and chemistry can't turn into love, but the chemistry and the intensity it feels like open up to new love. Give yourself a chance at love. Finding somebody who's emotionally available. It feels like you're connecting to somebody who wasn't emotionally available and really has let you down over and over and over several times. Now, this same person, because I'm talking about them, could be coming in again. You do see the Wheel of Fortune. You see the 9 of Swords. It says, we're going to regret this. It's coming around again. And you may want to try and make it work again. But what comes after the 9 of Swords? And it's like another lesson learned. Have you not learned your lesson yet with this person? It's not the most beautiful relationship message I could give somebody, but as soon as you get off this hamster wheel, it looks like new romance, new love, like what you deserve, somebody who's available. But to me, if you're connecting with somebody who's not available, or you chase them, they're intense, and you know it, or they're married, or they've got something that just triggers you in this sexual connection, but it's not good for you. That is your lesson. You're trying to domesticate an alley cat. And it just seems like, maybe some people can, eventually some of the biggest players in the world get married. But at the same time, it's like, right now it seems like it's causing you a lot of grief. So you may have to ask yourself whether or not it's worth it. Whatever it is you're going through, is it worth it? So I am seeing, the big, you're having some sort of epiphany about a situation, but I am seeing relocation, closure, goodbye, moving on, and taking a chance too. If you want something to change, you have to try a different direction. You have to try something different. You're not, you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same outcome. If you're connected to an Aries, I see the Star card. All right, so Aries here, there's still some glimmer of hope there, but in my readings, I don't want you to, put all your eggs in one basket, especially with this reading that I just did. All right, but there definitely could still be a little bit of hope there. You guys both truly desire each other. Maybe this is a process that you guys have to go through so you guys can figure out what you really want, or there's a lot of healing happening here between you and an Aries. Taurus, I see the Nine of Pentacles. Taurus values their independency, values single life, right? You may be wanting commitment from them. You know, they may be willing to commit with you, but they are the type that needs more space. Their idea of commitment might be, you know, different than yours. You might be ready to move in with somebody and somebody's not ready. Somebody's like, nah, that's not what I want. Gemini, the Fool card. So anything's possible with a Gemini, you know, but there's two things here. One, you can't keep avoiding commitment. It looks like there's a fresh start coming in with Gemini. It feels as though if they have done this before, I wouldn't jump in unless you know exactly where things are going and you know they're invested. Cancer, I see Five of Swords, so I do see, you know, still some mind games here. You're just not quite sure where you stand. You're not quite sure, you know, if they understand you, if they're listening to you, if you guys really are, whatever the reason, whatever it is, you're still confused with the Cancer. Leo, Ace of Swords, so a decent conversation, clearing things up, or, you know, finally hearing from your Leo. Virgo, 10 of Cups. There could be possibility of a relationship or getting together with a Virgo. Libra, King of Pentacles. You know, if they're in a relationship or they have other things going on, you know, that could be the karma. If not, you're dealing with a Libra that's slow and steady. You know, they don't rush into things. Scorpio, Two of Wands, right? So Scorpio kind of at a crossroads here. You know, they feel the passion with you, but we got to make a choice here of where things are going. So you may be making a choice or getting together with a Scorpio. Sagittarius, I got the Five of Cups. It feels like a Sag might be the one that keeps leaving you abandoned, keeps leaving you like they don't care, no matter what you say or do. I'm still getting that with a Sagittarius. Capricorn, High Priestess. There could be an awakening happening here with the Capricorn. You know, so if they're silent, just give it a little bit more space, right? To me, it feels like they're doing what's right. So if they'll come back in, if they feel like it's right, they'll stay silent if they feel like it's right. Aquarius, the Hermit card. So it looks like Aquarius is going on their own trip, wanting to be alone. Maybe it's time to go solo with an Aquarius. And Pisces, I'm seeing the 10 of Wands for you. So I do see that you're going through a lot, and there's nothing more you can do. You've put all the work into something you can do. You've reached a point of whether or not, you know, it's either give in or give up, you know, and, or lay down the burdens. It shouldn't be this hard. Something shouldn't be this hard for you. So that is what I got for you guys. I love you guys. Thank you all for being here. We had a great day today. A lot of people showed up, and I appreciate you guys. Every Monday I will be here. When the spring comes, I may come back on another day. But I will be live. And it's not tomorrow, is not the class. Next Tuesday, we will be jumping into the Fool and the Empress card. So we are doing a really cool, I don't want to call it a class. It's just a dive into how to read tarot the old traditional way, and the game. And so we will be looking at major arcana moving on. And the next two is going to be a deep dive into the Fool and the Empress. And that's next Tuesday. All right, guys. I love you. I'll see you soon. Yeah, every other week. Yeah, this is where it's going to get really interesting. This is going to be where I can show you where how I decide the dynamic in a reading, you know, when I see what the challenge is and how I'm reading it, and maybe help you guys interpret when I'm reading for you, or help you guys interpret your own cards more. And it's also going to deepen my knowledge too, because anytime we all need to do this. You always need to evolve when it comes to reading. There's no one way, there's no one size fits all. And you know, I get aggravated when people try to point fingers or tell me how to read. I don't tell anybody else how to read. Read your own way. That's the whole idea of it. It's really what the cards say to you and how you feel and how you interpret it. Now, knowing the basic foundation of tarot is always important, but the cards themselves in every deck can read something totally different. But it's all a journey. I love you guys. Take care.